It's the San Diego Chargers versus the Seattle Seahawks.
And today we're in the great city of Seattle, Washington, the last frontier in the Northwest. But we're indoors. We're here at the Kingdome. It has been home sweet dome for Chuck Knox up until this year, but this year his record is 0-3. It's become a haunted house. Hello, everybody. I'm Charlie Jones. This is Merlin Olsen. The big story here, of course, for the San Diego Chargers, Billy Joe Tolliver will be starting at quarterback.
A huge day for Billy Joe Tolliver, Charlie, and it's a day of adjustment. It's a day he'll never forget in a sense that he must adjust to the speed in a regular season. Much faster than what he saw in college, much faster than even in the preseason, and Billy Joe will be tested here today.
However, Seattle won the toss to be receiving, so he's going to have to wait. Will that wait bother him?
It will be hard to wait. He wants desperately to get out and throw that first pass, Charlie. He is nervous. He's a cool customer, but you've got to believe that his pulse is up and the adrenaline is surging through that body.
All right, Steve Largent, he is also back. He has been on injured reserve. He's been out for 6 weeks, and a tremendous ovation when he was introduced here.
They're happy to have him back on the field, not only for his pass-catching ability, but also for his leadership.
Seattle won the toss, and they will be receiving. And so James Jefferson and Elroy Harris will be back as Chris Barr starts it off in the dome. And here is Jefferson from the 5. And he is brought down at the 22-yard line. Seattle's offense. They feature an offensive line that has been moving the ball, but they also welcome back number 80, wide receiver Steve Largent, who's missed those 6 games. On passing downs, now Kurt Warner and the tight end will come out, and Lewis Clark and Paul Scansey give Seattle an outstanding group of receivers.
4 wideouts with real speed and also great hands.
Official spotted at the 21-yard line, first down for the Seahawks. Largent comes in motion, a fake of a pitch, and then the give. Now we'll go to the defense as John L. Williams opened the action. The key man for San Diego in their front 7 is number 75, the nose tackle, Joe Phillips. He has to anchor the inside. In passing situations, he comes out along with the 2 inside linebackers. And Elvis Patterson, Johnny Thomas, Roy Bennett come in, making that 7 defensive backs as they join a secondary that has stayed healthy so far this season. Second down and 2 at the 29. John L. Williams moves to the far side and Kurt Warner to the near side. And Craig to throw. And it is knocked down. It'll be third down and 2. Bert Grossman was there for San Diego.
Both the quarterbacks today tend to throw sidearm. Craig as well as Billy Joe Tolliver, and a sidearm throw can get you in trouble. Watch the sidearm delivery, and it's knocked down at the line of scrimmage. Craig does have problems with the balls being knocked down. That's, well, Lee Williams with that 6'6.5", 6'7" body can reach up and slap even the high throwers.
And Bert Grossman is sitting right in the lap of Dave Craig. 4 wide receivers, third and 2, Largent in motion. They load up the near side. Come back over the middle. The pass is complete for the first down at the 39-yard line. John L. Williams has it. Lester Lyles with the tackle, a gain of 10.
John L. Williams already with a fine carry, and now with the reception, he is the best offensive weapon this Seahawk team has. Charlie, I'm surprised they don't use him more. They love to use him, but I'm surprised they don't get the ball to him more often.
And it's a first down at the Seattle 39-yard line. Opening drive of the ball game. 13:26 time remaining in a scoreless first quarter. And Craig goes deep. Incomplete. Brian Blades, the intended receiver, and Sam Seal, bad shoulder and all, was there.
Airing the ball out early. Blades thrilled to see Largent back. Hoped to get single coverage, but he draws deep cover here from Vincey Glenn. Sammy Seald using his speed to get in there. Very close to a catch. And that's a hard catch to make, Charlie, with the hands of the defensive back right up in your face and the ball coming over your shoulder.
2nd down and 10. Blades is happy as anybody that Largent is back. He'll get rid of some of that double coverage. Kurt Warner. Lee Williams with a tackle. No gain. 3rd down and 10. Meanwhile, waiting on the sideline, anxious awaiting his first start, is Billy Joe Tolliver. And he is loosening up, just staying loose in the sideline. 4 wide receivers for Seattle. It's 3rd and 10. Craig has pressure, rolls, throws, passes complete to Blades. Where do they mark it? First down, 50-yard line. Williams with the pressure and Seal with the coverage.
Brian Blades is not only the most improved player on this Seattle team, but Charlie, one of the most improved players in the NFL. He does not have the first down when he catches this football. Watch what he does when he gets his hands on it. Turns it upfield and keeps himself in bounds.
And he does what is so important in that situation. He gets the first down with a yard to spare before he's bumped out at the 50, so there's no question in the official's mind. Double tight end on the set, and this is Scansey in motion. And working his way inside is John L. Williams. Joe Phillips with the tackle.
Charlie, since that rocky start for the San Diego defense against the Raiders in their first game, they have played very well. In fact, they've kept their team in the ball game the last 3 weeks with a chance to win it in the last part of the ball game. But today they wanted to start the game fast. They have had a little bit of trouble in the first series of the game. They wanted to get out, make a good stand in the first series so that they don't get behind early in this ball game.
Dan Henning, the head coach of the Chargers, their record is 2-5. Seattle's record 3-4. Both, of course, along with the Raiders in Kansas City, chasing Denver in the West.
262.
Craig far side, and he overthrows the intended receiver, and that's Robert Tyler, the tight end. He was running out of time, had pressure from both sides, and simply was throwing the ball away. It'll be 3rd down.
It was Grossman and O'Neal from the outside. They were really getting some heat on Craig. This is a front 7 for San Diego that can really put some heat on you. They're also coming with Martin Bayless as safety, but there's the pressure right up the middle. You see 91 and 92, the rookie Grossman and Leslie O'Neal. Fine pressure on Craig. He simply had to throw it out of there.
Now Seattle has converted twice on 3rd down in this drive. 3rd and 2, 3rd and 10.
San Diego has had trouble on the 3rd downs. This is a critical early 3rd down situation.
From the shotgun. Over the middle, John L. Incomplete. Very catchable. A little behind him. Leslie O'Neal was putting the pressure on. And I thought that he would have it.
He normally catches that pass. The Chargers thrilled to see it end up on the ground. And John L. with a ball that could have been a huge first down in the early going here. But you're right, Charlie. Slightly behind him, and I think maybe touched by Billy Ray Smith. And I think that tap would have altered the trajectory of the ball, and we didn't see it with our naked eye. Needed the replay. Good job down in the truck of picking that one up.
And Ruben Rodriguez will be kicking to Wayne Walker. Good kick.
Maybe too good.
And Walker stays away from it, and it goes into the end zone for the touchback. So we'll bring it out to the 20-yard line, and San Diego will be moving on offense in just a moment. We'll go away. We have no score. The preseason numbers of Billy Joe Tolliver. Take a look at the clock. It is 12 minutes after 1 Pacific. I started to say daylight time, but just
no longer.
No longer. I predict 15 years from now, you will remember this moment, the first start of this quarterback. I think he is Hall of Fame material.
Well, Charlie, those are strong words, but he certainly has ringing endorsement from his teammates, from his coaches. They think he's something very special.
And now he has to do it. This is what it's all about. The waiting is over. Spitzer opens up on the ground for 3 to the 23. It'll be 2nd down and 7. Now let's take a look at that San Diego offense. Now they have an offensive line that's really banged up, particularly on the left side. Backs and receivers. The new man, of course, is the quarterback, Billy Joe Tolliver. San Diego will not show a shotgun, but they will go to 4 wide receivers. Both running backs and the tight end will come out. Darren Nelson comes into the backfield. Wayne Walker, newcomer Anthony Allen join that receiving corps. 2nd and 7. Carvello in motion. Spitzer again. It'll be 3rd down and 5. Seattle's defense, their front 7, well, they're undersized overachievers. In passing situations, the nose tackle and the 2 outside linebackers will come out. Rufus Porter is the designated pass rusher. Melvin Jenkins and Paul Moyer join a secondary that has been susceptible to the big play.
They have been burned. Tolliver would like to join the list of quarterbacks who've had a part of that torching.
Third down and 4. This should be his first pass. Has that pressure, and everything is exactly what you said. All of a sudden it is speeded up, and he didn't quite react. It'll take a little time for him to settle in.
Nothing like what he faced in college, nothing like what he faced professionally, but the first series not a great measure. That's Rufus Porter, who had 3 sacks on the Charger quarterback McMahon in San Diego. 2 sacks last week there with the pressure.
Hank Alisic will be kicking. James Jefferson is the return man. There's pressure from both sides. He gets it off. It's taken at the 37 and then out of bounds around the 46-yard line. 9:43 left to play. First quarter, no score. John L. Williams is on the sideline. Seattle has the ball. James Jones has replaced him for the moment.
He's got his left shoe and sock off, and apparently may have injured himself on that missed catch. He's putting his sock back on the sideline. I think we'll see him back in the lineup, but Jones is in there right now.
Seattle from their own 46-yard line. Here's Kurt Warner. Just a couple of yards to the 48. It'll be 2nd down and 10. Let's check the 10-minute ticker. The finals, Cleveland over Houston. Good ball game. Chicago over the Rams. Sorry, Maroon. Buffalo's for real. Miami took a run at them, but Buffalo is for real. New England, Indianapolis tied in the 4th. Cincinnati, big. They play the Raiders next week. Phoenix over Dallas. Dallas is still 0 for the season. Pittsburgh, they're on the comeback trail. Detroit, Green Bay are tied now in overtime. And New Orleans defeats Atlanta. Game starting with ours. Early scores: Philadelphia over Denver, Raiders over Washington. And we have no score here. 2nd down, Craig to throw. Right flat, little swing to Jones. Nice move. And is decked at the 45. He was hit by Martin Bayless, who is a linebacker disguised as a safety.
James Jones came here from Detroit, a teammate of John L's when he was at Florida. Watch this juke right here. Outside, Cedric Figueroa, adios. And then inside, double hit, but he picks up the first down.
Jones, by the way, speaking of first, was a #1 draft choice of Detroit. The year was '83. First time we've seen him in action this year for the Seahawks.
982! 982! 982!
Warner trying to get to the outside, a little quicker on the artificial surface than he is on the grass, and we've got a flag down. Plummer with the tackle, along with Sam Seal.
Holding call against Seattle. No, tripping call. Little different. Little different. Charlie, I may have said Florida State. It's Florida for those 2 backs, John L. and James Jones. I don't want to make that mistake. State is a different school than Florida.
State, by the way, upsetting
Tripping.
Miami yesterday.
Number 70 offense. 10-yard penalty. Will replay the first down.
So with the penalty, the ball goes back to the Seattle 46. And it'll be first down and 20. John L. now has come back into that offensive set. Was it on Ron Mattis, the tripping? Yes. On
I think it may have been on Mattis.
Yes.
Left tackle.
Largent in motion. Craig to throw. John L. right side. He's got it. And he moves to the 46-yard line of San Diego. So he has 8 yards on the play. It'll be second down and 12. Plummer with the tackle along with Gilbert.
Dave Craig has been around for quite a while. Knows that if he hangs on to the football a little extra long, probably going to get knocked down. That's Joe Phillips, nose tackle. He brought him down kind of gently.
Second and 12. Scoreless ball game. Just over 7.5 minutes to go, first period. Going deep, not there. Blades the intended receiver. We talked about the fact that this is Billy Joe Tolliver's first start. What about Dave Craig's first start?
I asked him about that just a few moments ago, Charlie, in the locker room before the game. And Craig's eyes lit up and he said, boy, do I ever remember that first start of mine. And he went back to the 12th game of the '81 season. And it's, I'm sure, some of the same enthusiasm, some of the same emotion that you see in that shot of Craig. But he had a chance to get into a game, was announced just after the pregame warm-up. They beat the Jets 28-24. His first pass, he said, a touchdown to Sam McCallum. Boy, you could see his eyes lighting up as he was telling the story.
Third and 12. Is it Tarkenton roll to the backside, and he throws. It is short of the first down. It is complete to Largent, so that streak continues. Now at 169 games. They're protecting Largent is what they're doing. That's what the Tippers are swearing. O'Neill and Wiles are doing.
Powerful bond between these offensive players and Steve Largent. They see somebody roughing him up, and that's a mark of a Chuck Knox team, togetherness. You mess with one of us, you mess with all of us.
Fourth down and a couple. Rodriguez to kick. Now the crowd wants him to go for it.
Well, they've been known to fake a punt, Charlie.
That's right. Walker is the deep back on the return.
Oh,
Floats
so
into
close.
the end zone.
They practiced that in the pregame, batting the ball back onto the field. That one just a little too long.
Melvin Jenkins was down. He was trying to catch the ball in the field of play, what he was trying to do, but the punt just carried a little too far. We've got a timeout. We've got a touchback, and we have no score. Back in a moment. San Diego's second opportunity on offense. I'm not the kind of guy who gets very nervous. I'm a football player, and that's what I do and do well. If I had to go out and shoot free throws in front of 50,000, I probably couldn't do it. The immortal words of Billy Joe Tolliver. He's now 0 for 2. Quick out was to Wayne Walker, his teammate at Texas Tech, and therein lies the story. When the Chargers went down to look at Billy Joe, he brought Walker along to work out with him, and he looked pretty good. And then after Billy Joe was signed, he said, hey, what about signing my friend Wayne Walker? They signed him. They brought him to camp as a free agent. And lo and behold, he made the team. He's a punt return man and a good wide receiver. Feisty little man.
That's been impressive. Tolliver still very nervous, if you could judge from that pass, Charlie.
And Spencer.
Charlie, I've talked to Ted Tollner, who calls the offensive plays for the Chargers. I asked will you cut the package down? Will you try and go easy with Tolliver? He said, we'd like to be able to do that. If we had a powerful running game, the simple thing would be to lean on the running game, throw some play actions in there. But he said, we can't do that. He said, we need Tolliver to come in and ignite this offense, to light the fire for the offense. We've got to give him the whole package and hope he can do something very strong with it. Well, so far, Billy's nervousness, I think, keeping him from making the big play.
Rufus Porter is in on defense. Caravello is the remaining back, 4 wide receiver. Pressure from Porter.
Fumble.
It's a fumble. It's a live ball. And San Diego recovers it. Caravello got it. And it was Rufus Porter who got it.
Porter showing that great speed from the backside again. Flying inside, lower part of your screen, number 97, all the way around from the backside, and the ball in the air before the arm started forward. San Diego gets the football.
And we've got a punting situation. Caravello recovering it. Illicik kicking to Jefferson. Low snap.
Ooh.
He gets it off. Had pressure. 49-yard line. Whoops. 2 yards on the return. Good
Great
coverage.
Just great coverage by San Diego.
5.5 minutes left to go. First quarter, a 40-yard kick, a 3-yard return. We have no score.
Back at the Kingdome, Rufus Porter ordinarily would line up here. He's moved outside of the tight end right here, Caravello, and he's just going to come all the way around the backside, and they were hoping that he would try and line up inside, but he comes all the way from the backside, all the way around the tight end. You can see why they're afraid of the great speed.
Scansey is in motion. He is in, replacing Largent, and here's Kurt Warner to the 40-yard line, gain of 9. Vincey Glenn with the tackle. Now, as we look at Kurt Warner, we look to the far side, and there is Steve Largent. Now he's got his helmet back on. He had it off. He was over with the trainer, and he was stretching his neck. Now, he has been out of action. No contact at all since the first game.
It takes a while to adjust to the hammering of the game. And, of course, Largent never afraid of what kind of beating he's going to take, but he'll get hit out there today, and he'll feel it more than he will later on.
2nd and 1. Scansey in motion. Here's Warner. And he knifes through for the first down. Figueroa and Bayless with the stop. We'll check the 10-minute ticker, and the top games that you'll see, the first games that you'll see are finals. Those are the early games, and the other ones that you see, of course, are the ones that are parallel with our particular ball game. And now Elroy Harris comes in, and Kurt Warner comes out of the offensive set.
A lot of Seahawks off to the sideline in the early going here. John Henry off moments ago. He's back on the field now. Largent still on the sideline at this moment.
And it's a first down. We have no score here. Moving on the 4-minute mark, time remaining in the first period. Tyler, the tight end. The motion man, Craig, drops it off underneath. And this is Harris, and he's got the first down at the 26-yard line. Picked up 11 yards. Bayless and O'Neal with the stop.
I think that's Harris's first catch, isn't it, Charlie? He had one run earlier for 6 yards, but I believe that's his first NFL catch. You can see why they like this youngster. Knox said yesterday, as a matter of fact, he said, we've got backups in there that never get a chance to play. Well, both James Jones and Elroy Harris have had an opportunity in this game so far.
And now John L. and Kurt are back in, and it's a first down at the 26. John L. Williams, a great receiver. Deep over the middle, diving, incomplete. Largent, I thought he had it at the 2. Sam Seal with the coverage. It'll be 2nd down. The neck seems to be all right, as you can tell.
The rest of him is going to hurt as he breaks inside off the one-on-one there. He'll get help inside, and that's Vincey Glenn, number 25, and he'll come out and let you have it. And, of course, that's what you want to do with those safeties. You want those receivers to have to think about it when they break those patterns off to the inside.
Now, those are the numbers against San Diego. 16 of his 98 touchdowns receiving, he has one record, have been against San Diego. Second down and 10. Comeback pattern on the side to Brian Blades is good. Gil Byrd was there for San Diego and will move the chains again. First down.
The Seahawks know that Gil Byrd is probably going to be man-to-man. They also know that they don't dare go man-to-man on Largent unless they have to. There's the single coverage, and there is Craig taking advantage of it.
15-yard line, first down.
Byrd, the best of the defensive backs in this secondary, having a very, very fine year.
Seattle with an excellent drive underway. Largent in motion. Warner. He's to the corner. And then is chased out of bounds by Vincey Glenn. Eight-yard line. Yesterday in practice, Kurt Warner came up to you and he disagreed with something that you had said on the air 2 weeks ago.
Well, Warner, I wouldn't say disagreed. He was upset. He said, I hear you told people I'm over the hill. I said, wait a minute, Kurt. I said, did you hear actually what I said? I said, you're not making as many people miss as you did when you were a rookie. But I also said that there was only one other back I could think of, Freeman McNeil, that made more people miss. Well, perhaps some incentive for Kurt Warner today. Wants to prove me wrong, wants to show me what a good back he is.
What you don't know is he came up and said, did I say that? And I said, no, I said Merlin said it. Go talk to him.
So, okay.
John L. Williams, good defensive coverage. Could not get outside. They strung him out. He'll lose a yard to the 9. It'll be third down. Figueroa makes the play.
Charlie, very important for players to be confident in themselves, to feel strong, to feel good about their own ability. In fact, one of the other things that Kurt Warner said, he said, if I feel like I'm over the hill, I get out of this game. Well, he is still a fine back. I never said otherwise. But I still will say that he is not as elusive as he was a young player. But there was something else that he said that made sense. He said, I'm using my head more. I'm using my tools better as a veteran player. That's something I do agree with.
Third down conversion, 204, 4 wide receivers for Seattle. Over the middle, incomplete. Just out of the reach of Brian Blades. Lester Lyles was there for San Diego, and the field goal team should come on.
Looked like Craig kind of threw that pass dropping off. Kind of threw it off his back foot a little bit. Slightly ahead of the streaking receiver across the middle, Norm Johnson. He's been looking forward to this kick, Charlie. Boy, I tell you, talked to him about the one he missed last week that would have given them a win in overtime. He said it's been a long week waiting for a chance to kick another one.
27 yards. Oh, and he walks away. That's a confident walk. That's a birdie walk. If you're on the golf course, would you know you're going to sink the putt? Yeah.
Well, all 4 of the kickers, not just Johnson, all 4 of the kickers have had something to forget. Johnson missing the kick last week. The 2 punters, Rodriguez with a -2 on a punt last week. Illicik with his worst punt ever, a 5-yarder. And, of course, Chris Barr, talking to him before the game, Chris Barr said to me, these Seahawks have blocked 6 of my kicks. He said, I can't forget that.
Be sure to be with us next Sunday. Join NBC Sports for an exciting football doubleheader beginning at 12:30 Eastern with NFL Live. Some of you to see Eric Dickerson and the Colts as they head south to Miami to face Dan Marino and the Dolphins, or Seattle hosting the Kansas City Chiefs. In the second half of our doubleheader, Bo Jackson and the Raiders host the defending AFC champions, the Cincinnati Bengals, or some of you to see Pittsburgh at Denver. So check your local listings for the game in your area. Here it is Seattle 3, San Diego nothing. Just over 2 minutes, the time remaining in the first period, as Norm Johnson will be kicking off. Darren Nelson and Anthony Miller are the 2 deep backs on the return. Now, San Diego did not want to use Anthony Miller as a kickoff return man. He's on the near side. He's the best one they have. But this far in the season, or the record is 2-5, they've got to use all the guns they've got. It bounces off a live ball, even whether it touches him or not in the end zone, of course, on a kickoff, but they down it. Nelson and Miller both there, and will bring it out to the 20-yard line. So this is the third time that the Chargers have been on offense, and offensively they're still a little bit shaky, and a flag down as the conference is being held by the officials.
Anthony Miller, one of the finest punt return kickoff returners in the league last year. In fact, San Diego led the league in kickoff returns last year, almost last, in fact dead last week, coming in kickoff returns.
We got holding on 24 White while the ball was loose in the end zone. We'll penalize from the 20-yard line back to the 10.
That's Lester Lyles. The conference is, when did the holding take place?
So that'll cost them half the distance to the goal line. They'll go from the 10. Charlie, just to clarify that, Anthony Miller has not been returning kicks until last week.
Yes.
Forced back into action last week, had a couple of good returns. They obviously feel that they need that addition.
Time of possession.
Ooh, that is not the way you want to start a ball game. They need to give Billy Joe something to do here. They really haven't given him a chance to show us the strength of that arm. They need to let him try and reach the speed of these wide receivers.
Third possession of the ball game for
Here
San Diego, and he fires it, and there's his completion, and he's got the first down.
Did you see him let some air out there, Charlie? His first reception, maybe he can settle down and go to business now.
Jamie Holland on the receiving end, and Dwayne Harper had the coverage.
Just watch Billy Joe Tolliver. At the end of this play, watch the little, watch him now.
He pulled his helmet down on top of his eye.
All right. Shut his eyes for just a moment, I think.
24-yard line, first down. And here is Spencer. And he'll go to the 28. Second down and 6. Joe Nash with the tackle. Can you remember your first start? Can you remember your first start?
Charlie, I don't think you ever forget your first start. I remember coming into the Coliseum. It was a preseason game. I'd had a chance to play most of the first 3 preseason games. They announced I was going to start. And I can remember saying, oh, does that mean I get to be introduced? And they said, no, we're introducing the offense. So I didn't get to get introduced, but I still remember how excited I was to know that I was going to start my first game as a pro.
By the way, on defense, Joe Kane, this is his first start. He's the right outside linebacker. And flags are down. Seattle says they have the ball.
Missed snap in there. Miscommunication between Courtney Hall, the center, and Billy Joe Tolliver.
False start. Offensive right guard. 5-yard penalty. We'll replay the second down.
So on a false start, the play does not exist. It is blown dead immediately, and so the fumble recovery in reality did not take place at all.
David Richards, the right guard. Let's listen to the snaps. We maybe get a chance to see what happened.
Joe Kane, this is his first start. He's the right outside linebacker. And flags are down. Seattle. No, what we really heard was our audio. You sounded rather good today. You're in good voice, Mr. Olson.
That was you, Charlie.
Oh, was that me?
That was an echo. I didn't think it was me.
And Rufus Porter is in. Pressure from the outside. Pass far side, a little low.
No,
they're going to say no. Jamie Holland, the intended receiver.
Would have been a first down had he been able to scoop it up, but it just ticked the turf before he caught it.
Into the first quarter, Seahawks lead it 3-0. Number 9, Jim McMahon, not starting. But this week, Merlin, I have a surprise for you, is that during the week, I signed us both up for the Jim McMahon fan club in Chicago, and here's your fan club button in your button, and there is the picture.
Oh, an official Jim McMahon picture.
And here's your official card.
All right.
Well, the official stickers.
Thank you, Charlie.
Your official newsletter.
Well, thank you, Charlie.
Right? Also, we have your official Go Merlin headband. Right? And not all fan members get this. Magic bag of tricks here. Is that this is the Blue Blocker Jim McMahon glasses.
Very good. Well, Charlie, I'm a fan of the way McMahon, at least
That's you.
in what I saw today, handled the fact that he is not playing.
Yeah.
And McMahon also talked about how he could help Billy Joe Tolliver. He said, I can be a second set of eyes for him on the sideline, and I can help him when he comes off with a question. But he said it is important for me to be there if he needs me. But there he is on the sideline. He's such a competitor. It's got to be tough not to be in this ball game today.
You know how hard it is to look at you when you've got those glasses on. Knocked away at the last moment. Miller, the intended receiver, and Patrick Hunter with a defensive play. It was almost there.
You can get a feeling, though, for the very fluid and strong throwing motion of Billy Joe Tolliver. Watch the delivery on this ball. It's effortless. He really has a powerful arm, and that's an excellent pass. Without great coverage by Patrick Hunter, that ball would have been caught. Tolliver, I think, is settling down.
Alisic to kick. James Jefferson is the return man. There's a return on. Good kick. Flag is down, taken at the 26-yard line. Cuts back, he's to the 30, to the 37. 51 yards on the kick, 11 yards on the return. Bayless was there for the Chargers. The penalty will be against San Diego for holding.
And I believe they will make them kick again. That was a powerful kick by Alisic. Much, much better coverage from the San Diego Chargers today than we saw in the game 2 weeks ago, Charlie. The special teams, of course, of the Seahawks.
On number 86 of the kicking team will re-kick with a 10-yard penalty.
The special teams of the Seahawks more dominant by far in that game. Great coverage, gave them great field position, and of course the two blocked kicks, the blocked extra point, the blocked field goal at the end of the game. There's the man who took the bows after that game. And of course, the San Diego Chargers saying we're not going to let that happen again, and their coverage has been very positive here today.
So Alisic will be kicking again. Last week he had that, as you mentioned earlier, just that 5-yard kick, but he is a punch type kicker, doesn't have that long extension of the leg, and he can drive it towards the sideline, but also at times he's been called Hank the Shank, and it'll take off to the right on him. This one not as good, but still carries. Taken at the 35-yard line by Jefferson. He's to the 50, slips the tackle out of bounds at the San Diego 49-yard line. Martin Bayless on the special teams was there. We've got a timeout, and the Seahawks have the lead 3-0. Seattle will start this drive at the San Diego 49. Their average start has been their own 42. The Chargers' average start has been back at their own 17.
Part of the reason for that is that they have not been able to move the football, and you can see what that does to possession time.
2-1 for the Seahawks, and they've got the ball. John L. goes in motion, and here's Kurt Warner. A nice move to the inside, and that little burst that he has, particularly on the AstroTurf, he's to the 45. Has 4. It'll be second down and 6. Plummer with the tackle.
Charger defense, Charlie, needs to come up with a big play. Force the turnover here.
Largent on the far side. The team doctor and the trainer.
Assistant trainer John Kasich on the sideline.
What a team. You've got a frog in your throat, and I'm taking water for it.
Oh, good play inside. Leslie O'Neal.
And Warner salvaged 2 yards when it simply wasn't there.
O'Neal penetrating the backfield, driving Ron Mattis, not Mattis, but Brian Millard, 71, who comes over to trap from his right guard position. Watch 71. O'Neal meets him in the backfield, takes on a second block by Wilson. That's just great ball reaction there as Warner able to go back against the grain. That play designed to go off the left tackle. He went off the right tackle, made a couple yards.
3rd down and 3. Brian Blades, first down. Sam Steele with the tackle. They picking on Sam?
Well, you know they're going to try and pick on Sam Steele. Left-hand side of your screen, number 30. Notice he turns all the way around. If you can make the defensive back turn his back on you, he's going to have trouble.
Largent has a slight concussion. They say that he will return.
Doctors probably asking him some questions, getting some reactions, keeping an eye on his eyes. We'll see Largent back in the game, I think.
Craig is 7 of 14 for 66 yards. Has pressure and is thrown down.
Lee Williams is saying, boy, am I glad I've got long arms. Had to reach all the way around Brian Millard. Craig almost able to get away from the pressure as he broke up the middle. But right at the last moment, those long arms of Lee Williams just reaching right around. Watch Craig. Gets the pressure, breaks up the middle, and there he runs into Millard, number 71, and Williams reaching around all the way on the other side, pulls the man down.
Second and 12, little play action fake, screen on the near side, back to Johnell, gets 2 good blocks down the sideline. Excellent blocking in front of the screen.
Bert Grossman down on the field, and Grossman angry. He came into this game with an injured right knee. Someone took a shot at his left knee on that play. He felt it was a clip. You may see it as we watch John L. on the little screen, and it's a roll screen designed to draw everybody through. There's Grossman right there. You saw the shot on his knee. I don't think it was a clip, however, Charlie. Looked like the head was in front of the leg, but still Grossman happy he didn't hurt himself on that play.
Fiesel and Millard with the key blocks. First down at the 25. Great screen blocking. Warner. He cut back inside the block of John L. Figueroa with the tackle, 20-yard line. It'll be second down and 5, and a chance for you to update the games going along with ours. 49ers and Jets tied. That's a surprise. Philadelphia, leading Denver big early. That's a surprise. And there's 3 surprises. No surprise here. It's very close. Seattle leading San Diego 3-0. Seahawks have pretty well dominated the first half in time of possession and also in number of plays and in total offense. There's the time remaining in the second quarter. Second down. Warner. Fumble. Drops the ball. John L. saves it.
Maybe we can see what happens. This Seahawk team has had far too many fumbles. He just lets it go out of his hands. He's trying to tuck it away, and the Seahawks extremely lucky on that play. They have had a whole series of fumbles haunting them. There's the number, 18 this season, 14 in the last 4 games. Add another to it. However, they did not lose it to their opponents.
4 wide receivers set without Steve Largent. He has a concussion. He does have a reception. There's a flag down. San Diego was in the neutral zone. It'll be against the Chargers. Grossman was leaning in, and may have been somebody else at the other side of the line was also leaning in, and they may have gotten caught by the hard count by the opposing quarterback. It's cost them, or were they drawn off?
Well, San Diego worried about Craig's hard count. He does a good job of drawing people offside. They've been victimized a great many times this season so far.
Did we cover all the possible options?
We have an offsetting foul. We have illegal motion on the end, 89, and we had 92 on the other side of the line in the neutral zone by the defense. We're going to replay the down.
Now, if the motion had caused the defensive man to cross the line, then it would be against the offensive mind. What they're saying is that the movement outside did not draw the man inside off sides, and Henning is saying, wait a minute. If he moves and my man moves, it should be on them.
Also, it's not an automatic call. at an end or a tight end or a wide receiver. It's only tackle to tackle and an automatic false start call.
Ooh, in the grasp. Yes, grasp and control. And they'll take it back, and that moves it out to where it's going to be a very long field goal.
That's a 52-yard attempt.
Craig feeling the heat, and that's Leslie O'Neal comes in to lasso him from the bottom. O'Neal with an excellent move and great hustle. This will test the range.
1 out of 1 from 50 plus. Actually hit that from exactly 50. This will be a 52-yard attempt. Good snap. Got the distance. Will it carry? No. Off to the right. I thought he had it.
It was plenty long,
Yeah.
plenty of leg, and Johnson has a fine touch on those long field goals. In fact, no one has kicked them better. You can see how very close it was.
It goes to the right and does not come back. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back to the Kingdome in Seattle, where the Seahawks lead 3-0. Joe Caravello, the H-back of the Chargers, on the sideline. Marion Butts is the remaining back in this set. 3 wide receivers. Holland goes in motion. Best field position that San Diego has had to start a drive. Dropped over the middle to Butts. And he will lean to the 42-yard line. Gain of 7, 2nd and 3. Wyman with the tackle.
Caravello hoping he could have a day like he had 2 weeks ago against the Seahawks. Caught 5 passes, his biggest regular season day in the NFL. And of course, he's a guy who arrived as a defensive lineman. Switched over to an H-back position like another big guard in the backfield. Boy, he will put some hurt on you.
2nd and 3. Caravello in motion. And Butts comes up about a yard shy of the first down. Darren Como with the tackle. It'll be 3rd down and 1 at the 44.
One of the things that this offense allows Henning to do with his big H-back is to bring him and change the strength of the formation all the way across, and it's like pulling a guard across that formation. Caravello at 270 pounds, Cox at 280 pounds, a tight end, an H-back. That's like having 7 offensive linemen in there.
Double tight end on the set.
Three tight ends, and it looked like motion from someone in the offensive line. Charlie, they're adjusting to Tolliver's count in there, maybe having trouble with it.
74 offense, false start, 5 yards, still 3rd down.
That's Brett Miller, the new father.
74, left-hand side of your screen. You see the little bit of movement there. And one of the adjustments you have to make to a new quarterback, Charlie, is that the count is a little bit different.
7-pound daughter, Gianna is her name. White Galen, everybody is fine. Went into labor during last week's ball game.
Brett Miller almost left the stadium without a shower last week. Our congratulations.
3rd and 6, Tolliver with pressure incomplete. He was going to Miller, and Rufus Porter was there again.
And you hear them shouting, "Roo, roo, roo, roo." Number 97 all the way around the outside, and boy, they just let him go. You cannot allow the speed of a Rufus Porter unchecked, or Tolliver is going to find himself on the ground all afternoon.
Report card on Billy Joe, 2 of 7, 21 yards. Not an impressive start.
Has not had much time either, Charlie.
Alyssa kicking to Jefferson.
Good kick. Good high kick.
Fair catch, call for, and taken at the 25-yard line. Rufus Porter, he only weighs 220. They saw that little guy at the end. They thought he can't get to the quarterback. They were wrong. Seahawks lead 3-0. We're back with the 10-minute ticker. The 49ers and Jets in a good one. Philadelphia is still shutting out Denver. And the Raiders leading Washington by 10. And here the Seahawks have dominated, but on the scoreboard they only lead 3-0 with 7 minutes to go in the first half. And they go to work from their own 25-yard line. Scansey in motion. Craig has pressure, has to come off of his primary receiver. Flag is down. He goes to Kurt Warner, who's got 9. If you saw the difference of the veteran quarterback, there's going to be holding against the Seahawks. They'll bring it back. He looked at 3 or 4 receivers and then finally came off of the last one and came to Kurt Warner.
Good adjustment by Craig, but it's
70 offense, holding. 10-yard penalty, still first down.
It's on Ron Mattis.
Mattis, number 70, the left tackle. Tough job outside right there.
There's 1, 2.
On Grossman. Yeah, 3 looks, Charlie. You're right. Picked out 3 guys. And that's something he's had so much experience now. He doesn't have to think about that. And right now, Billy Joe Toliver is doing a lot of thinking. And it shows. It shows. You're best as a player when you can just react to what's happening in front of you.
First and 20. Kurt Warner, flag down. He's got a couple of yards.
And they got Grossman again on the hard count. You could hear it.
Yes, yes. Now you know what would mean the hard count when the quarterback goes hut, hut, hut. And nobody goes offensively.
No team in the league has worked harder at trying to keep their players from jumping off sides than San Diego. But it seems like the more they talk about it, the more they do it.
5-yard penalty will replay the first down.
Listen to the hard count now. Boy, you see that bark, and as much as you steel yourself defensively, you say, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to watch the ball. You're ready to go. You're all keyed up, and bam, you find yourself offsides.
Well, in this series, we had first and 10, then first and 20, and now we've got first and 15. We pretty well covered the gamut. Blades. Now, during the commercial, this is what was going on the sideline. And Steve Largent, now that's the team doctor. That's Dr. Jim Trumbo. His brother John lives in La Jolla.
2 quarterbacks, Kemp and Stauffer. And I think they're trying to either explaining to Largent why he shouldn't go back in the game or trying to ask him questions to get him thinking so that his mind kind of gets clear. I still think we may see him in the game, but they won't take any chances with Steve Largent's help, believe me.
In case you joined us late, he started. He's been out for 6 weeks. He has a reception. The streak continues at 169 games.
Oh, big play inside.
Tight end Robert Tyler, first down.
Gary Plummer is the leading tackler on the San Diego defensive team. 64 tackles coming into the day, but he has trouble if you get him out in space. Really doesn't have enough speed to take care of a fast receiver. He's just a step behind there, and Tyler able to pick that up for the first down. But Charlie, you made an interesting and telling comment early. With all of the time and the first downs in Seattle's favor, they've only got 3 points on the board.
Craig, 11 of 18, 109 yards.
Big play. Grossman
stopping John L. A reminder to our viewers, we'll be selecting the Budweiser Most Valuable Player for today's game at the conclusion of the game. And another reminder, next Saturday, NBC Sports will present exclusive coverage of the 1989 Breeders' Cup. Horse of the Year honors are on the line. Sunday silence. It'll be Chris McCarron in the irons, as Pat Valenzuela tested positive on cocaine, and he is under suspension. He'll be going Sunday silence against Easy Gore. They'll go head-to-head in the Classic, the $3 million 7th race.
What an exciting day on
that's
NBC.
A great day, isn't it?
If you love horses, join us.
Second down. Craig sets up, goes deep, has a man open, overthrows Paul Scansey. And Scansey was open. Somebody missed the coverage in the secondary.
Well, Martin Bayless coming over a little late. a little limited by his speed.
But
He's
you
more of a...
But you never know for sure if he's the one that missed the coverage, though.
Well, you don't, Charlie. But a good bump there by Bird to stop Scansey short. Bayless will show up right there. It was a short and deep coverage, and Bayless waiting very deep. But he was there. He was there in time, Charlie.
3rd and 10. 4 wide receivers off of the shotgun. Cutting and sliding over the middle was Jeff Chadwick. Mental mistake. He thought he had the first down and went down with it. Now, if he is touched down, it is dead there. Or if the official inadvertently blows a whistle.
Chadwick, a big play receiver they picked up on waivers from Detroit. And they may want to look at this. Craig is saying nobody touched him when he was on the ground. Charlie, you called the rule well. He can get up and run.
Unless they blew the whistle.
Two officials to say the ball carrier got touched on the leg. Therefore, it's 4th down.
Let's look and see. No, he didn't.
Not from that angle.
I don't agree, and I wonder if they will review this one. They may elect to review. Is this reviewable, Charlie?
I'm going mentally down the checklist.
It's not possession. Nobody touched him when he was on the ground. He can get up and move. And they are going to review it. They've stopped the action here. There's another angle. The feet are up off the ground. The hand on the ground is legal. That's the one thing you can have on the ground.
It has to be irrefutable evidence. And
Well,
I'm not sure that that's irrefutable.
I think it is, Charlie. It's one that I would reverse.
All right. I agree with you. I agree. Let's see. This, I think, is the best angle because there's the sweep and it comes right by. It does not touch him. And then he goes to the 50. And that will pick up the first down by just under a yard. Now, why is it we can make that decision so quickly? When I'm watching at home, I can make it so quickly. But it takes the system longer.
Well, it takes a long time. Charlie, we don't have to explain it on Monday either.
After a review of instant replay, we're respawning the ball on the 50-yard line.
Good call. Good call.
Several mistakes. Well, Dan Henning said, you better come and explain that one to me, buddy. And you see the official heading to the sideline. Knox is pleased for a change. He's been a little hot with the officials himself over the past few weeks.
And Dan, of course, you can tell that he is arguing that he touched.
Here's the one I think that did the telling right here. The feet are up off the ground before the touch.
Yeah.
That was 23, Roy Bennett. And that's a mistake, 2 mistakes. A mistake by Chadwick being short of the first down. Mistake by Bennett. All he's got to do is tap him when he's on the ground, and they'd have had to kick it away.
So it's a first down at the 50. 3 minutes, 56 seconds and counting. Clock is moving. Seattle leading 3-0. San Diego has hardly had the ball on offense at all. Here's John L. Williams. 3 yards to the 47.
Not too much different, except that the score was bigger than last week's game against Denver. The Seahawks leading 14-0 came back to lose that game in the second half. And one of the reasons I think they lost is that Denver, sensing that it had been Seattle's game all the way in the first half, said, hey, we're only down 14 points. They came back. They won the ball game.
What does this do to a San Diego Charger defense that has been the strength of the club? They are on the field. Look at the time of possession. They are on the field all the time.
Well, last week the time was even more one-sided. I think 37 minutes for the defense on the field. Very little for the offense.
Blades, he's got it. First down. Sam Seal, and boy, they are going after Sam.
You saw them turn Sam Seal around completely earlier in the game. Now he's just cutting back to the sideline. Brian Blades has really become a much, much better receiver this year. Much crisper in his routes. Much more dependable for the quarterback. That is so hard to cover. Seal is not doing a bad job of man-to-man coverage. That's just a hard route and a good pass. Almost impossible to stop.
A gain of 15 yards on the play, the first down. Blades again. That is the 6th reception in the ball game for Brian Blades. And he has picked up 54 yards. Check of the other scores. San Francisco by 10. Philadelphia by 7. Denver's on the board. And the Raiders by 10. We've got the close one here. It is Seattle 3, San Diego nothing. 2-minute warning. We'll be back in just a moment. With the changing of the rules, there's a lot more use of the hands, Merlin.
Well, a lot more use of the hands. And one of the things you'd like to use as a defensive player is the jersey. Like to be able to grab a hold of it. But it's hard to do today, Charlie. And this is the reason. The pads are built in such a way that there's nothing to get a hold of. And then the players take two-way tape. They stick it to the jersey all over the pads. And then the jersey goes on the top of it like that. And there's nothing to grab on. Now, I'm hoping that my tie will come off, Charlie, so I don't have to wear these shoulder pads for the rest of the game.
Be hanging
but
from your chest,
offensive and defensive linemen, you see how tight those jerseys fit? Two-way tape.
Second down. It is low. Is it caught? No, they're going to rule it incomplete to Kurt Warner. By the way, the young man, Darren Klein, who is the son of Dick, our director. Now, he heard about this trick through you and credits you.
Well, he double-taped his jersey and got 3 sacks.
3 sacks.
So Dick came back and said, Merlin, you got credit for 3 sacks. Well, hey, if you're listening at home and they've been holding on to your jersey, double-face tape will do it every time.
Look at the number of plays. Past 3-1. 3-1 would be 3-1 plus 3.
But Charlie, the Seahawks have got to get points on the board. They have dominated. Usually that's a very bad thing. You dominate a team like this and only have a 3-point lead. Good defensive play.
Receiver, excellent defensive play for Sam Seal. They've been picking on him and they've gotten him a couple of times. He's come through with a couple of big plays, and that was a 3rd down play. And so that means that Norm Johnson, who is hit from 27 and missed right from 52, will try.
Good pressure inside, and there is Seal timing it perfectly.
Crowd reaction because it's shown on the diamond vision.
I was looking up there too.
The players watch also.
The players do.
49 yards on the attempt.
He missed a 52-yarder just moments ago.
Beasley with the snap. Kemp with the hold. Has the distance. And this one is no good.
He missed right, and now he misses left. So he has missed 3 of his last 4 field goals, connecting on 1 short one early in the ball game.
Good spot. I think he just overcorrected.
Overcompensation, but again, just so close.
Like the one he missed in overtime against Denver last week.
Kickers can't do a lot of thinking, Charlie. They can't make too many corrections or they get into trouble. And Rusty is saying, what's happening out there? What's going on? Kickers don't always know. It has to be instinctive. They just got to do it.
San Diego's offense today, this is their 5th possession. First 4 possessions, 25 yards, 1 first down. Tolliver with pressure has to drop it off. He was trying to get it to Darren Nelson.
Arthur Cox just grabbed Rufus Porter by the shoulder pads and threw him down on the far side of the field. Maybe you can see it. Cox said before the game, if I get my hands on him, he's dead. Look at this. A face mask jerked him down. Rufus is going to get up and say, wait a minute, that's not legal, and that's not legal. There should have been a flag on that play.
Be sure to stay with us at halftime for NFL Live. Bob Costas and O.J. Simpson, scores and highlights. The story behind all of the numbers.
Tolliver needs a big play here. Chargers need to light the fire under this offense.
He goes deep, and it is almost intercepted. He was trying to hit Arthur Cox about 20 yards downfield. Nesby Glasgow cut in front and almost picked it off.
Glasgow with all those years experience sitting in the middle. Tolliver hangs this one up. He's lucky it was not intercepted. Dan Henning said we expect Tolliver to make some rookie mistakes, but we are confident enough in his talent that he's going to make some big plays too. has not made those big plays here so far in the first half, but we still got another half of football, Charlie, and with only 3 points on the board for Seattle, hey, it's anybody's game.
Hadn't made a lot of little plays also.
No, well, hadn't had a lot of chances either. They're not moving the ball, not moving it on the ground either.
We'll have a flag. Seattle was offside. The pass is behind Darren Nelson, and he was nailed.
Patrick Hunter there to put him on his backside.
Hunter hits harder now that he wears 27. 2 games ago, he's wearing 23. Seahawks were offside.
A 7 is heavier than a 3, isn't it, Charlie?
That's right. That's right.
You'll see the end of this play. There's the jump
Defense,
inside.
Number 79, offense. 5-yard penalty. Will replay the 3rd down.
Patrick Hunter waiting, and that's the kind you write home about and say, Mom, I wish he hadn't thrown that one to me.
Do they talk it to the wide receivers, bring that back to the huddle and say, by the way.
3rd and just over 5 yards to go.
1:34, time remaining, 2nd quarter. Seahawks lead it 3-0. Nelson, first down.
Good play.
50-yard line. Eugene Robinson bringing down Darren Nelson. Played his collegiate ball at Stanford, pro ball at Minnesota, traded to Dallas, and then traded here. Hurry up offense.
Finally with a little field position. The first chance they've had all day. Ooh.
Almost intercepted.
Some confusion on that pattern as Nelson had run into the same area as Anthony Miller.
And Melvin Jenkins is there.
You'll see 2 receivers, same spot. Now, probably Nelson, the man who makes the mistake here, because Nelson is new to this offense. Although he said, hey, they're the same patterns, they're the same routes to run, they're the same running plays, just call them all different names. So he's doing a lot of thinking out there as well. In this game, because Brinson, normally the 3rd down back, got a neck problem, not playing today.
He's inactive today along with Bernstein. 2nd and 10.
1:10, still a lot of time on the clock.
Three-man rush. There's a screen.
Good play.
Nelson behind the screen. Good defensive play. They just saturated it. James Jefferson was there. And Nesby Glasgow, Rufus Porter. And San Diego takes the timeout. 59 seconds left to go first half. Seattle leads it 3-0. Tolliver, his number's 3 for 11. 11 is his jersey number. I asked him this morning. I said, why do you have number 11? And he said, because they wouldn't give me 14.
Well, in San Diego, that 14 is a very big number.
Yes, yes.
Draws a lot of respect.
3rd down and 10. Now he scrambles, throws, and it is incomplete. Miller came back to help him along the sideline. Jefferson and Jenkins were there for the defense, but Tolliver moving, he threw it too hard.
He did, Charlie. Threw it almost through the receiver, and that's, again, the result of having all of that nervous energy and not being able to control it. Tolliver will make better decisions. He comes out of this first half with poor numbers, Charlie, but he has not made the big mistake in this first half either. And a quarterback has the ability to kill you if he comes out and throws the interceptions, throws the ball on the ground, makes really bad choices. He has gotten away with a couple of bad passes, but he has not made the big plays here in the first half. There's still a lot of football left.
Elisic kicking to Jefferson. End zone. We'll bring it out to the 20-yard line. And Seattle will go to work with 41 seconds left to go in the first half. Now, from a Seahawks standpoint, as I'll remind you about next week's Seahawks, remind me to come back to that question. Join NBC Sports, an exciting football doubleheader beginning at 12:30 Eastern Time with NFL Live. Some of you see the Colts as they head south to Miami to take on Dan Marino. Seattle will host Kansas City. Second half of the doubleheader will be in Los Angeles. The Raiders hosting the Cincinnati Bengals. Also to be seen Pittsburgh at Denver. So check the local listings for the game and time in your area. I've forgotten what the question was. I knew that would happen.
Well, we are halfway through the season, we know, and almost halfway through this game, Charlie.
So do you go for it, or do you just run out the clock? This is the play that usually determines. Brian Blades, now the hurry-up offense, they'll take a timeout.
A change. Ordinarily, Chuck Knox would hold it on the ground. Although he's not happy, I'm sure, with that 3 points on the board, having been able to move the ball so well during this game. Kenny Myers there talking to Craig, quarterback coach. John Becker just to the right of Craig. A new offensive coordinator this year for Chuck Knox.
18 yards on that last play for Brian Blades. 7 receptions for 71 yards. And he expected more single coverage. Check of the other games that are reaching towards halftime as we are. He expected more single coverage because of the return of Steve Largent. But Largent has been out since midway in the first quarter with a concussion. He does have 1 reception, so his string is still intact. But Blades is now getting double coverage again, and still very effective.
Charlie, one of the things that happens when a player is hurt and someone else has to shoulder the load, they either grow or they break, one or the other. Brian Blades has really grown and has grown into the responsibilities he's been given in Largent's absence.
First down at the 38. Getting floater to Lois Clark, right at the first down marker. And Seattle quickly stops the clock again. They take their second timeout. They'll have 1 remaining. Roy Bennett makes the stop for San Diego. This drive all predicated on that first play from the 20-yard line. Picked up a quick 18, so now you have a chance to get something going. If you don't, then you just pull it out, pull it back, and run the clock out. This fall, the Skins game returns to NBC Sports. Join us Thanksgiving weekend, a unique round of golf where 1 putt could be worth $450,000. Or remember that hole-in-one by Trevino. Ray Floyd will be defending his title. The U.S. Open champion Curtis Strange, along with legends Jack Nicklaus and the man himself, Lee Trevino. They'll be in pursuit. Enjoy 2 days of great golf and great fun. One of the best foursomes ever. The Skins game. That's Thanksgiving weekend on NBC.
I have trouble on a $5 putt, Charlie. I don't know how I do for the Skins.
The putt for $450,000.
Billy Joe Tolliver said that earlier, didn't he? In that quote, he said, I play football. I can handle this, but you asked me to shoot free throws. Well, I feel the same way. You asked me to putt for all that money. I don't think there'd be any way I could breathe, let alone talk.
It'd be hard to get the putter back.
Hard to get that putter back. Good heat again.
Incomplete.
Elvis Patterson there on Lewis Clark. Lewis Clark wanted a call, but Patterson reaching around for that ball timed it very, very well. I'll let you judge for yourselves. There's Patterson, 34. He may have contacted him slightly on the back, but he didn't really alter the movement or the freedom of the receiver.
Chuck's explaining it, of course, to the official. But what he did was he took his body weight around the receiver.
And reaching around. If you're a young defensive back, you always want to get the offhand around the front of the receiver.
Did not go through him. That's also does not fall in the purview of the replay official. Good call.
Good play inside. Leslie O'Neal again.
Warner picks up the first down.
This San Diego defense, they've given up some yardage, but they are playing very good football. The one thing that would scare me, Charlie, they have been on the field so long, and even though the temperature is constant here in the Kingdome, there's not a lot of humidity, and it sucks the moisture out of you. This is a place that is hard on you physically, even though you don't sense it.
You should be with us at halftime. NFL Live, Bob Costas and O.J. Simpson scores and highlights. The Seahawks now have taken their last timeout. The ball is on the 50-yard line. There's 19 seconds remaining. Usually, most teams will save that 1 timeout for the field goal attempt, so they do not have to rush on to the field. But this is not taken into consideration.
You got to get into position to score the field goal, Charlie, or to try the field goal.
But you want to assume you're going to do that. A man that's 1 for 3 that you saw, Norm Johnson, hitting from 27. He has missed right from 52, missed left from 49. So this one should be right on target. They need another 15-yarder.
They'll go to the sideline.
Flag is down. Chadwick with the reception. Patterson with the tackle.
Patterson will be called for getting there too early on that one, and that stops the clock.
With 13 seconds.
They're still not in field goal range, however.
No.
But with 13 seconds, they might be able to get another one.
34 defense, first down.
Well, Patterson got away with the first one, did not get away with the second one.
Oh, yeah, he got there too soon. Got there before the
Well,
ball did.
that was tight.
That was
We're
tight.
looking at it in slow motion.
Right.
The official is right on the spot. I think he's right, but he's calling him pretty tight.
Yes, he is. 44-yard line, the line of scrimmage, 13 seconds, no timeout.
Was he reacting to Chuck Knox's conversation on the sideline? Perhaps.
May have been programmed. Coming back underneath the coverage to Brian Blades, who was the short man on this side. Scansey was the deep man, and he missed him.
He would not have been in position even at that time to bring the field goal unit out on the field. I think they're hoping to get it to Blades, let Blades use his speed to get up the field and then out of bounds.
9 seconds time remaining. One play.
I think you go deep with three receivers on this one, throw it up, hope for a penalty or hope for a good bounce.
This one or the next one?
Yeah. We'll see. Maybe you put the 3 out, and no, it's 4 wide receivers, 2 on each side.
Double Hail Mary. Intercepted. Patterson has it. Flag is down. Patterson returns to the 42-yard line, but time is out. However, there was a flag dropped back at the 37-yard line. You better not leave, because that could determine whether or not there'll be another play.
Illegal block in the back.
Flipping at 92 during your run back. It's an offensive foul. Half is over. Half is over.
Offensive foul. The half is over. Defensive foul. We continue. Fiesel blocked in the back by Grossman. Pushed down.
And so a first half completely dominated by the Seahawks, but still very close. They got only 3 points. It's the Seahawks 3, the Chargers nothing, as we go to halftime.
And we welcome those of you who've watched Seattle take the 3-0 halftime lead over San Diego. Unofficially, Billy Joe Tolliver making the start today, the second-round draft choice out of Texas Tech in place of Jim McMahon. Combination of McMahon injuries and ineffectiveness. Billy Joe Tolliver 3 for 12 for 21 yards in the first half. And the Seahawks with the 3-0 lead. They're 3-4. The Chargers are 2-5. San Francisco playing at the Meadowlands against the Jets. San Francisco 6-1. The Jets 1-6. Steve Young starts at quarterback, of course, with Joe Montana hurt. Then Young twists his right knee. He was able to come back, but during his absence, they go to their third-string quarterback, Steve Bono. All he does is uncork a 45-yard touchdown pass to Jerry Rice. Rice helped him with a spectacular leaping catch at the goal line, and it's 20-7 in favor of San Francisco. They're at the half. Philadelphia scored 2 quick touchdowns in the first quarter at Mile High Stadium. Keith Byers a 16-yard run. Randall Cunningham a 5-yard scoring toss to Chris Carter. Then later John Elway scored from 10 yards out for Denver. They're at the half. Philadelphia 5-2, leading the 6-1 Broncos at Mile High. 14-7. Now the Raiders and the Redskins have just gone to the half, and the Redskins were lining up for a field goal as we came on the air, and evidently Chip Lowmiller made it from about 40 yards out. 17-10 is the halftime score. The Raiders in front. Steve Berline playing in place of Jay Schrader Juice, so Schrader doesn't get a chance to play against his old Redskin teammates, and Berline throws a couple of quick touchdown passes in the first quarter to Mervin Fernandez, 18 yards and 8 yards.
Well, I would say that's good news to the majority of the Raider players, because I think all along that they felt that Berline should have been the starter over Schrader, and they have a 17-10 lead, which is really amazing, because this is a team that was in total disarray a few weeks ago. They changed coaches. They came in with Art Shell. They went back to what they call Raider ball. They won 2 games in a row. They really had a chance of winning to win the game last week against Philadelphia, one of the game's top teams. They missed 2 field goals. They lost that game 10-7, and here they are beating another top team in the NFL, 17-10. So I think the Raiders have solved some of the problems that they've had by going back to what is known now as Raider ball.
What a story that would be, and it's a big enough story if, in fact, they win today and make it 3 out of 4. But if they had won their first 4 games under Art Shell, that would be incredible.
Well, I think they're happy, basically, is that they're playing aggressive Raider football again. They got Howie Long back. He's playing ball. Some other players are playing hurt again. This is the mark of the pass Raider teams, and they're just playing good aggressive football now, basic football, and they have a chance. I mean, they really have a chance. They're playing some top teams, and they're playing them tough.
Okay, these are the finals now from earlier today. Houston went into Cleveland, both teams 4-3, tied along with Cincinnati atop the AFC Central, and Jerry Glanville's team took a 10-0 lead at halftime, but Jerry wasn't smiling at game's end because back came the Browns with big plays in the second half. Eric Metcalf takes the handoff. He shovels it back to Bernie Kosar. The Houston defense bites, and here's Webster Slaughter wide open. It covers 80 yards. In his last two games, he had a 97-yarder against the Bears and an 80 and 77-yarder today. This is the halfback option play in the fourth quarter. Reggie Langhorne on the receiving end. Eric Metcalf, Terry's son, throws a perfect spiral for the 32-yard touchdown. In between, Webster Slaughter had caught yet another TD from Bernie Kosar, so he has a 77-yarder and an 80-yarder today, a 97-yarder on Monday night against the Bears, and here are the Browns now at 5-3, dropping Houston to 500 at 4-4 with a 28-17 win.
Well, it was certainly a big win by Cleveland. This was a team that's been having some problems after a fast start, and Houston was a hot team coming into this football game, but as everyone knows, Houston is a very aggressive football team. They're the bad boys of football. They play the type of ball that the Raiders used to be noted to play, and I think Bud Carson took advantage of that aggression today. If you notice, those two touchdowns on those highlight package were off-play action, a handoff to Metcalf, forcing those safeties to come up with their aggression, trying to make the stop of the run and throwing over them. And, of course, with the option pass by Metcalf, it's just taking advantage of an overly aggressive football team.
There was one down note for the Browns, Juice. Ozzie Newsome finally had his streak stopped. He had caught at least one pass in 150 consecutive games. Newsome, of course, the great tight end in what is apparently his final NFL season. He's headed for the Hall of Fame someday. He didn't catch one today. The streak ends at 150, but the Browns do beat Houston 28-17. The Bears made a quarterback switch. Mike Tomczak was 4 for 16 when Mike Ditka yanked him just before halftime. On came Jim Harbaugh for Ditka, and while Harbaugh wasn't sensational, he was efficient, and he had his moments, including this one when he hooks up with Wendell Davis for a 36-yard completion down to the 1-yard line. This is early in the fourth quarter. Harbaugh did it himself from there. That proved to be the clinching touchdown. They beat the Rams by a score of 20-10. Both teams are 5-3 now as the Bears snap their two-game losing streak, and the Rams, after opening 5-0, have dropped 3 in a row to the Bills, to the Saints, and today to the Bears. Speaking of the Bills, they're now 6-2, and they've got a 2-game lead in the AFC East. They beat Miami at Rich Stadium 31-17, and Thurman Thomas had a tremendous day, 148 yards rushing, including this 30-yard score in the second quarter to the right sideline. Then he cuts back. Beautiful run. Larry Kinnebrew complimented him with 100 yards plus as well, so both running backs topped 100. Frank Reich, who's 3-0 in relief of the injured Jim Kelly, threw a 63-yard touchdown pass to Don Beebe. Everything worked for Buffalo. They're 6-2, 31-17. They even sacked Dan Marino twice, and Marino hadn't been sacked at all since September of 1988 when the Colts got him. He'd gone 19 games without being caught for a loss of yardage. New England beat the Colts at the Hoosier Dome 23-20. They did it in overtime, and this is the game winner. Greg Davis will kick his third field goal of the day. He had a 47-yarder, a 48-yarder, and this is to win it from 51 yards out with about 5 minutes to play in the extra session. He has it with plenty to spare. Indy loses to New England 23-20, and that's a big game as far as the Bills are concerned because they were already 2 up on the Dolphins after beating them head-to-head. Now, with New England cooperating by beating the Colts, it's a 2-game lead for Buffalo over both Miami and Indianapolis. More bad news for the Colts. Eric Dickerson, who's been nursing that sore hamstring almost all season long, had to leave in the third quarter with the hamstring bothering him, and he never returned to the game. Cincinnati got 5, count them, 5 touchdown passes from Boomer Esiason, and that is the correct final score. They walloped Tampa Bay 56-23. Some highlights from that game. They were roaring again in the jungle. They'd lost their last 2 home games at Riverfront, but not today. They did trail at one time, 16-14. That was prior to this play. Tim Brown, Eddie Brown, I should say, making the touchdown reception just before halftime from Boomer Esiason. That gave them the lead. They never relinquished. James Brooks had better than 100 yards. What an excellent off-tackle runner he is. He goes in from the left side for a 4-yard TD run in the second half. Now here's Tim McGee catching this one as Esiason lofts it over the defensive back. So you saw 2 of the 5 TD throws for Esiason. He's back on the beam, 56-23. Dallas had to look at today's game against Phoenix on Dallas's home field as one of the Cowboys' best opportunities to win a game this year, but Phoenix took it 19-10. So Gene Stallings' Cardinal team has split their first 8 games, and the Cowboys are 0-8 for new head coach Jimmy Johnson. Pittsburgh was ahead of Kansas City 16-0. The Chiefs came back and took a 17-16 lead, but eventually the Steelers win it. And let's take a look at the play that won it for them late in the third quarter. As you see, about 15 seconds to play when Bubby Brister, who has the strong arm, goes up top to Lewis Lips. The desperate move by the defender, but Lips hauls it in for the 64-yard score. Brister had missed the last 2 weeks with a knee injury. He comes back today, throws 2 scoring strikes to Lips, a 16-yarder in the first quarter, that 64-yarder on the closing minute of the third quarter to win it 23-17. Kansas City got a 50-yard field goal late in the first half from Nick Lowry. For Lowry, his 18th career field goal of 50 yards or better. That's an all-time NFL record. The previous mark had been held by his predecessor as the Chiefs kicker, the future Hall of Famer Jan Stenerud, who had 17 of them from 50 or more. Today, Lowry got his 18th, but it wasn't enough. Kansas City did rally, but they lose to the Steelers 23-17. And how about the Steelers? After losing their first 2 games in almost laughable fashion, they're back to 4-4 after winning 4 of their last 6, and they're very much in the race, just a game back in the Central Division of the AFC. Green Bay goes to overtime at County Stadium in Milwaukee, and they win it. They're 4-4. Detroit 1-7. 23-20, the final score in OT. Barry Sanders with a great performance in a losing cause for Detroit. The Heisman Trophy winner had 184 yards rushing. And New Orleans, after a sputtering start, has now won 3 in a row. The Falcons gave them a tussle at the Superdome, but the Saints win it eventually, 20-13, dropping the Falcons to 2 up and 6 down on the season. And we'll be back with more on the NFL Live Halftime Show following these messages from your local stations.
It is halftime in the Kingdome. The statistics in the first half: San Diego on the left and the Seahawks on the right. First downs 2-14. Total yardage 38-193. Time of possession just over 8 minutes, almost 22 minutes.
Scary, Charlie.
Yeah.
But then this is the number. After looking at that, you say, well, San Diego must be behind by 2 or 3 touchdowns already.
Yeah.
This is the number that really frightens you if you're Chuck Knox. And I'm sure that in the locker room at halftime, Knox has been carefully reminding his players that last week against the Denver Broncos, they were up 14-0 at halftime, came back to lose that game in the second half. Now, I'm sure that Chuck Knox has said, listen, we do not want to let down here in the second half.
Now, Dan Henning in the locker room has said, hey, everything has gone fine. The rookie did exactly what we expected him to do. We're right in the middle of this ball game. We can come back and win it just as Denver did. But now, let's be honest, is Tolliver is not Elway.
Well, Charlie, the other thing, I don't think he said everything went fine in the first half. They did not play well offensively, did not run the ball. Tolliver made some mistakes. They obviously have to play much better offensively. And they were a little lucky defensively. But luck is a part of this game. The thing you like, if you're Dan Henning and if you're Billy Joe Tolliver, you're within easy striking distance. One big play is all you need. You put a touchdown on the board, you're ahead. You put a field goal up there, you're tied. They got to be pretty pleased with where they are at this moment.
And San Diego will have the ball to start the second half. Anthony Miller, and he returns to the 31-yard line. So a bit of a spark on the return. The Chargers possession, 3 plays and out, 3 plays and out. There was the first down. 3 plays and out, 6 plays. Punt, 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 punt.
That's a defensive battle cry, 3 and out. And so far for the Seahawks, most of the day has been 3 and out. Right now, the Chargers need to do something about that. Get something rolling offensively. I would think by now Tolliver has shaken some of that anticipation and some of that nervousness off. I look for him to have a better half.
31-yard line. Spitzer opens on the ground as he did to open the first half. He's going to have about 4. It'll be second down and 6. When Dan Marino had his first start at Miami, it was a game against Buffalo. We've talked about it in the past because I did that ball game with Bob Greasy. Marino comes out, first opportunity, he threw an interception. He looked about like Tolliver did in the first half. came out in the second half and looked like he'd been playing for 5 years. He really did. It was amazing.
Well, I would think that if you are Dan Henning, if you're a San Diego Charger or a Charger fan, you're hoping that Tolliver will make that same kind of metamorphosis.
Chargers take a timeout. We'll be back in a moment. This is Charlie Jones and Merlin Olsen at the Kingdome. 14-14. Double Dan Fouts, you might say.
Charlie, as much time as San Diego's defense has been on the field, that also means that Seattle's defense, which is an undersized and quick defense, has not been on the field a lot. They are really fresh. That should pay dividends for them here in the second half.
Second down. On target. Wayne Walker, his former battery mate at Texas Tech, first down at the 46. Looks a little better.
The one nice thing about possessing that strong arm is that Tolliver can reach that out, that long out, the deep outs in particular, with ease. It's the kind of pass that he should be able to throw consistently.
Broderick Thomas, who limped off a moment ago right before the timeout, is back into the offensive set. Excuse me, Broderick Thompson, left guard. Carvello in motion. Play action. Goes deep. Double coverage. And it is intercepted. Eugene Robinson, they're going to rule it down back at the 13-yard line with the interception saying that he was downed and touched.
Well, he tried to get the big play down the middle, asking Tolliver to air it out to his speed. Anthony Miller, the most dangerous of the Chargers, and a great jump on the ball by Eugene Robinson, number 41, who stole it right out of Miller's hands.
And a good reaction play by Miller as he touched him down at the 13-yard line.
And of course, it's not a question whether he got him or not because the whistle blew on that one. Moments ago, Largent on the sideline looking at the ready sheet and I think saying, I am ready to play. He's on the field at this moment.
Wide to the near side. Jonell Williams has 3 to the 16, second down and 7. Now James Jones, who we saw in action in the first half, will not come back as a running back for Seattle in the second half. He is out with a bad wrist. The score is Seattle 3, San Diego nothing. Just under 13 minutes to go, third quarter.
Saw Craig take a peek at his left wrist. He's got the plays on that wrist, and sometimes they signal him in by just 1, 2, 3, 4. They also can signal a whole play.
And he is down. Grossman got him.
Well, in the vernacular of the defensive lineman, that's a baggie.
Or a baggie.
That's not a sack, that's a baggie. He got the good penetration, but the quarterback simply held onto the football too long. Watch Craig. Coverage sack. Nobody to throw to. There's Grossman on the ground. He's surprised that Craig still had the ball. That's a baggie.
A baggie. How about that?
But it counts just like the sack,
oh, yeah,
Charlie.
Yeah.
And this is nasty field position. The Seahawks have had great field position all day to start drives. This is not great field position.
3rd and 15, 4 wide receivers from the shotgun. Blades has the first down. 18 yards. Patterson makes the tackle.
Split the zones. Right up the gut. And there's Largent to say, great catch. Largent is going to break it inside and then back outside, just holding Patterson momentarily. But that ball had to be perfectly thrown between the defenders. Blades doing a good job to concentrate on it and even hold on to it after that hit.
Converting on 3rd and 15, first down at the 26. Jonell Williams. He's going to lose a yard. It'll be second down and 11 as Bayless chases him out. When you talk to Plummer was also there. when you talk to the San Diego defensive players this week and you say, you know, tell me about the Seahawk offense, they say, John L., John L., John L.
They certainly have respect for him, and they also have respect for Blades and, of course, for Largent, for the return of Largent. And they don't scoff at Craig either. A lot of weapons, no question about it. The Seahawks have many more offensive weapons than the San Diego Chargers do offensively. They're not getting the ball in the end zone today, though.
Second down. Far side, Largent, good coverage. Sam Seal was on him. And it'll be third down.
When you talk to people about Largent and you ask them about this receiver, what they'll tell you is that the one thing that is so difficult to cover about Largent is he makes every pattern look the same. You can't read Largent by watching the way he starts a pattern.
Notice what he did. The throw was behind him. He reached back with the left hand, deflected the ball down, negating any possibility of an interception.
Good reactions.
Third down, just over 10. They converted a moment ago, 3rd and 15. Scansey, big first down. 49-yard line of San Diego, 29 yards, 25 yards.
Largent back in the lineup. Blades playing very effectively. You've got to double cover both those receivers. Who do you single cover? Paul Scansey. What does he do to you? Comes up with a big first down.
All-time reception leader, Steve Largent, 792. Charlie Joyner, who is on the sideline, as you saw, 750. He is now an assistant coach with San Diego. And Scansey, he is Mr. Third Down. Little shovel pass underneath. One thing about Dave Craig, he'll throw it any way to make the completion. If they're coming in with their hands up like Lee Williams, they come right in underneath it.
That's almost like a baseball, softball pitcher.
You're rolling the dice.
Kenton Colby. Kenton Colby.
Check of the other scores. What is it? San Francisco leading the Jets by 10. Jets have stayed close on one they didn't think they could. Denver still trailing Philadelphia. Philadelphia got out early, 14-0. And the Raiders still in front of Washington. And here we're still close.
We certainly are, but the Chargers with an excellent opportunity to pin the Seahawks deep and get good field position have let them out of the hole here.
In fact, they had 2 opportunities, and both of them got away. John L. First down at the 35. Plummer with the tackle. Now, John L. has caught at least 5 balls in each of the last 5 games. What's his numbers? He has caught 4. 1 to go to keep the streak going. 4 for 42 yards. Seattle has looked more impressive on this drive than anything they did in the first half.
I'm sure it's what they had in mind. They wanted to set the tempo for this second half, and a lot of that tempo begins right on the line of scrimmage with the big man.
Double tight end. McNeil in motion. Kurt Warner. Got a couple of yards to the 33. Bayless takes him out. It'll be second down and 8.
Excellent play by Billy Ray Smith on that last drive to stretch the play to the outside. Number 54, Billy Ray Smith, top of your screen, right-hand side. Watch him as he'll take on Tyler, the tight end here, stuffs him back into the hole, stretches outside, takes on Bailey, a second blocker, and pushes Warner out of bounds. That is excellent linebacking play. That's as good as it gets right there, Charlie.
And they mark him out at the 34, so a gain of only 1 at 2nd and 9.
Ooh, almost.
Incomplete. Good pressure, good coverage. Tyler, the intended receiver, and Bayless was there for San Diego. It'll be third down and 9. We've talked about the Charger defense had got to be tired. They've been on the field so long, so much, in this ballgame. What about the offense of Seattle? They've been on the field. They've got to be getting tired.
You bet they are, Charlie. But somehow it's not so bad. It's not so bad if you're winning, and they are winning on the scoreboard with their 3 points, but those 3 points aren't huge. They'd like 7 to go with them. By the way, I think the thing that wears you out the most is pass rush. And a lot of passes thrown by the Seahawks today and a lot of rushes, but the pressure is still there for San Diego right at this moment.
They're down and 9. Here's pressure, and he dumps it off. Now, there was nobody there, but he's going to get away with it. He was avoiding the loss, and that's the veteran. He just got it in kind of a crowded area, so the officials say, well, let it go. Billy Ray Smith was putting the pressure on.
Charger defense doing what they hope to do, that is keep more points off the board. Well, at least they will be able to if they can force a miss by Norm Johnson here.
This will be an attempt of around 51 yards. Now he has missed from 49 and missed from 52, but that was going the other way.
Looks like it's exactly 52 where he'll spot it, Charlie.
From this side?
No way.
No.
And that was not hit nearly as well as the balls that he missed. He really hooked that one.
So Norm has hit from 27 yards out, but since then he has missed from 52, 59, and 52 again.
One of the most dependable kickers in the NFL, maybe in a slump here. Norm Johnson, number 9, on the sideline, talking to Rusty Tillman. Knox just kind of staying to his side. Rusty's saying, you're not getting the follow through, not getting that leg through cleanly. That ball was not hit well. Got a kicker who's thinking too much. He's 1 for 4 in this game, 1 for 5 last 5 kicks.
San Diego from the 34 to their 37. Tim Spencer, the ball carrier. Let's go back to this one.
Look at the kick. The ball apparently really did not get nailed properly, was not rotating well, hooking to the left, and didn't get much altitude on it. And it's such a mechanical thing. It's like a golf swing, Charlie. If you're a golfer and you start thinking too much, you run into trouble. I'm guessing, now I don't want to get into his head. He looks to me like he's thinking too much.
Tolliver drops it off. This is Spencer. He's out to the 42. It'll be 3rd down, still a couple to go. Wyman and Hunter with the tackle. Total offense at this point in the game, San Diego's total offense is 60 yards. 60 yards.
That's not going to get it for you, Charlie.
Seattle's 246 yards. Seattle 246. It's almost a 5-1.
Can you imagine doubling that Seattle total and seeing 6 points on the board? Very unproductive scoring for that many yards. The crowd is scoring right at the moment.
He is sacked by Jacob Breed. The Kingdom, a very tough place to play in for visitors.
Intimidating, although you saw the stat we flashed for you at the beginning of the game. Jacob Green, backside sack. Billy Joe Tolliver just taking too much time with the football.
Alisic to kick.
That half. Oh.
And it goes out.
When the ball hits the ground, the protection for the punter diminishes. Because if you run into the punter at that point, if you're not roughing him, you're not penalized. I'm surprised this ball was not blocked, and Paul Moyer kicking himself because he didn't get there in time. Illicik, great job just getting the ball off.
And he got 18 yards out of it. We've got a timeout. We'll be back. Seahawks lead it. The Seattle Seahawks missed opportunities. 7 possessions. Only 1 paid off with a field goal. Missing 3 field goals, an interception, a pair of punts. This is their 8th possession. In those 7 possessions you see on your television screen, they ran a total of 57 plays. Kurt Warner. And he's got 5 yards. Leslie O'Neal with the tackle. We'll check out the 10-minute ticker. In the period of time that Seattle had the 57 plays, San Diego to this date has run offensively a total of 26 plays. And the score is still 3-0. Seattle, that's mind-boggling.
Charlie, the one thing that Dan Henning said to us last night when we talked to him, he said, I've asked my defense to keep us in the game. The last series, the last 3 weeks, we've had a chance to win or tie the ball game. Their defense has kept them in the game here today, but the offenses, quite a bit different, but not that much different on the scoreboard.
Johnell, and he'll go to the 43. It's going to be 3rd down and a couple. O'Neal with a tackle.
I don't know who's more frustrated, the Seahawks because they're moving the ball like crazy and can't get in the end zone, can't get points on the board, or the Chargers who can't move the ball. It's both. Both of them are frustrated. The one thing that Chuck Knox preaches constantly, error-free football. He bases his attack on the running game. With Big John L. in there hammering, with Kurt Warner having a pretty good day, you don't blame him for basing it on the running game. But when you can run the football, it makes Dave Craig's job that much easier.
It's complete, and he goes again to Brian Blades. And Blades has the 1st down. And the toast, Elvis Patterson, was the man on it.
Had Blades all the way on the right-hand sideline. Single coverage. Fans wanted to have a face mask call, but Blades had a hold of the jersey at the throat, not the face mask.
And when he threw him down, he was inbound.
He was inbounds. Yes, he was. That's good physical football. You don't want to let him come down there and catch a cheapy one. Make him pay a little bit.
1st down at the 35. Moving on the 5-minute mark. Time remaining 3rd quarter. Here's the reverse with Blades, the speedster. Outstanding defensive play. And that was Bert Grossman who halted the possessions. The proceedings, he did not make the stop, but he clogged the works up.
Bert Grossman right here is going to burst up field, and he's not going to bite on this play away. Watch him right here. Gets upfield quickly and gets enough of Blades to slow him down. Great athletic ability just to get his balance back, but slowing him down that much kept him from breaking to the outside and making the big play. Good play, good speed by Grossman, who runs a 4.65 40. Pretty quick for a rookie.
Gain of 3, 2nd and 7. San Diego shows blitz, and the blitz man was in the neutral zone. There was a fumble. Chargers have it, but they're going to give the ball back to Seattle, I'm sure. Was it Vincey Glenn that was leaning in?
I believe it was coming. It looked like Vincey Glenn breaking in from the top, and he just lined up right there offside.
Number 25, offside.
It was.
5-yard penalty. Replay the 2nd down.
Look at him right in the middle of the screen, leaning way over. You want to try and intimidate that quarterback a little bit when you jump up into that gap, but you don't want to get that far over, Charlie. I mean, there's no question. Half his body was hanging over the football.
2nd and 2. Ball at the 27-yard line of San Diego. Nothing there for Kurt Warner.
I would think that the one guy shaking his head on the sideline and probably hoping most for a touchdown at this point might be Norm Johnson. I think he'd like to kick an extra point and not have another long field goal to try at this point. There's
3rd down and 1.
Charlie, there's somebody on the other side that knows exactly how he feels. That's Chris Barr. Barr's been around a long time, and I think he's saying, I'm glad that's not me. But he would like to have a chance to even things up here if the Chargers can get him an opportunity somewhere.
John L. has the first down. 22-yard line. Lester Lyles with the tackle.
What a nice cutback by John L. on that last play. Cedric Figueroa, number 51, had the angle on it. Looked like he had him dead to rights. Watch Figueroa, 51, right in the middle of your screen. He's got the angle on John L. And now, zap, just a little bit of a brush. Great body control, tremendous leg strength. One of the things we haven't seen John L. do today, but it's devastating. He's got such big, powerful hands. He'll stick that right in the face of the defenders and knock them off with that big straight arm.
First down at the 22. Craig with a little touch, and he misses everything. He is now 21 of 38 for 228 yards. Blades, his favorite receiver, with 9 receptions for 97.
The middle of that line, Feasel, big center, in fact the biggest center, the tallest center in the NFL at 6'7.5". They're working on Joe Phillips. The two of them were teammates back at Minnesota when they were both struggling to try to break into the NFL. Feasel said, hey, the tough guy, I'll bring a lunch when I play against him. It's going to be a long afternoon. They've had a war in there today.
Largent in motion, second down. Intercepted. Billy Ray Smith has it. And the defense continues to play well for San Diego. They continue to position them with an opportunity to win.
Charlie, there's no question about it. They've taken it into their own hands here. They're handing the ball back to the offense, and they're saying, do something with it, please.
When Dan Henning was asked about starting the rookie quarterback in the Kingdome, he said he's going to have to play against Seattle sometime in his life in the Kingdome. And Merlin, this is a very difficult place to play in, is it for a visiting team?
Charlie, I'm not sure this is where a quarterback would want to start his career. He won't face a tougher crowd, and this is a tough team to face too, and they have given him fits today. He's had his problems, but he still is one big play away from getting his team ahead in this game. Great position to be in.
Also, this is a very knowledgeable crowd. They will make the noise now when the visiting team is on offense. Is this the big play?
No.
It's intercepted. Dropped. Nesby Glasgow had it in his hands, and he dropped it, and San Diego escapes one more time.
You might ask the question, how many times will Billy be able to put it into the hands of those blue shirts and get away with it? I'm sure on the sideline, Henning wondering if maybe it's about time to reach for McMahon and let the veteran come in to finish the ball game. McMahon, by his own admission last week, should not have played in that game, and he is beat up. It would help him not to play today physically, but Henning is going to have to face that choice if they don't get something going offensively here pretty quick.
And McMahon is loosening up on the sideline. Tim Spencer out to the 20. That's a yard. It'll be third down and 9. Patrick Hunter, and there's McMahon. When I talked to him this week, I asked him how bad did he hurt, and he said, Charlie, I hurt so bad I could not play golf this week.
You know,
you know that is bad.
You know it's bad, and it was one of those situations where, as I said, by his own admission, he should not have played, but he is a tough quarterback, and he wants to perform. He desperately wants to help this team win.
Fumble on the snap.
It looked like Seattle may have gotten that football. Tolliver was fighting for it.
San Diego retains possession, but it'll be fourth down.
Courtney Hall, the center, and Tolliver have had trouble on several other occasions today. And Tolliver's concentration, he is lucky he got looks like he got over that ball.
He did.
Fighting Courtney Hall's leg to get at it. Several Seahawks fighting him for that football. Ulisic has been a busy man today, Charlie. He's hoping for a better snap on this one.
This is his 7th kick. Jefferson, the return man.
Not a good snap again from Gannon.
Pretty good kick. Not a great kick. And it'll go out of bounds at the 48-yard line. No, only 30 yards. So Seattle will have possession in San Diego territory. Check of the other scores. San Francisco increasing their lead. Philadelphia still by 7. And the Raiders by 20 over Washington. And here the score remains Seattle 3 and San Diego nothing with 32 seconds. That is the time remaining in the third quarter.
Last week in their game against the Giants, this defense took it into their own hands. Vincey Glenn with an 81-yard fumble return for a touchdown to score. They might be saying, hey, maybe we need to score some points here. Maybe that's the only way to get it going.
Kurt Warner, 3 yards to the 45. It'll be second down and 7. Billy Ray Smith, who made the interception, makes the tackle. Next Sunday, be sure to join NBC Sports for an exciting football doubleheader beginning at 12:30 Eastern Time with NFL Live. And some of you to see the Colts against the Miami Dolphins and Seattle against Kansas City. The second half of our doubleheader, Cincinnati at the Raiders and Pittsburgh at Denver. And we'll take the countdown to the end of the third quarter. So 3 periods are in the book, and that is the magic number. Chargers have lost 3 in a row. Seahawks have lost 3 here at the Kingdom. Seahawks lead 3-0. And a chance to check up on all the scores and a checkup of all of the statistics through 3 quarters. Oh, it weighs way to the right side. Total yards 53 to 273, and also time of possession.
Throw those stats out the window, Charlie. Want to win the game if you're the San Diego Chargers. Both these teams desperate to win. Both chasing, and they got San Diego to jump off sides again.
John L. carries. There's a flag down. Leslie O'Neal may have jumped the gun.
No, I don't think there's any may.
No way about it.
To that.
Leslie O'Neal jumped the gun.
Defensive line coach Gunther Cunningham has got to be pulling his hair out on the sideline.
Defense, offside, penalty refused, first down.
It's a 5-yard penalty. They got 7. They refused it.
There were several people offside. You'll see O'Neal right at the top side being one. I think someone jumped on the other side as well. John L. flashing into your picture. Once again, Seattle with great field position, but they simply have not been able to get the ball into the end zone. This has been one of the strangest games that I have seen in a long time.
That is John L. And Leslie is chasing him from behind, and he gets him. Gil Bird was also there.
One of the things that Steve Largent is very good at is blocking, but he doesn't always get his man. He gets a piece of Gil Bird, but Gil Bird gets by him. But I'll tell you who made that play possible. The backside pressure from Leslie O'Neal, who chases from the backside as well as any linebacker in football. In fact, with Rufus Porter chasing from the backside and O'Neal chasing from the backside, you can't find 2 guys in the league anywhere in that same class, in my opinion. Elsie Taylor, maybe. There are a couple in the same class, but 2 of the best in football here.
Not a very large class.
Not a big class.
Pass is complete to John L. That's going to be to the line of scrimmage, and that's all. It's going to be 3rd down and 13. I don't know how strange this game is. Every Seattle drive has ended up in San Diego territory, and they have 3 points. Every San Diego drive has ended in San Diego territory. Chargers have not been in Seahawks territory.
Well, they have been stumbling all day. It looked like Craig caught John L's foot as he went back, saved himself, then found John L. But not much there. That's Gary Plummer, number 50, adding to his team-leading tackle.
3rd and 13. 4 wide receivers for the Seahawks. Craig slips away that he dumps it off, and they're going to rule it an incomplete pass.
He got away with that one.
Oh, he's gotten away with a couple.
He's had a couple thrown today, and that's the experience of a veteran quarterback. But again, the Seahawks falter. Good field position. They can't sustain the drive. But he's almost knocked down by John L. His own man. Ooh, right into the face of it. Now that's a way to get even with those on-rushing linebackers. Stick that football right in those face masks.
But also what it does with the deflection outside, you got away with intentionally grounding the ball. Rodriguez to kick. Wayne Walker is the return man. He'll just try and hang it up and hope the coverage will get there before the ball does. Fair catch is called for, and it goes into the end zone for the touchback. We'll bring it out to the 20-yard line. The score is Seattle 3, San Diego nothing. Back after these messages from your local station. The roles have been reversed. Billy Joe Tolliver is on the bench, and Jim McMahon is the quarterback.
He is, Charlie, and having watched throughout this game, he's had an eye on the defense the whole game. He knows where the openings in that defensive backfield are, and Tom Catlin, I'm sure, concerned that he might be able to exploit them.
Here is Butts. First down. And he just keeps going. They're going to mark him almost to the 40-yard line. And is this the spark that the Chargers needed?
There's no question that a change at quarterback, especially to a veteran like McMahon, in this situation can lift spirits and enthusiasm. So can a great run like that.
What about second quarterback syndrome?
Second quarterback comes into the field, and all of a sudden the emotion changes. A defense tends to let down after they've knocked the quarterback off the field. However, that's a #1 quarterback coming back in.
He has time, rolls, throws, it's high, and it's incomplete. Arthur Cox's intended receiver. He overthrows him. Eugene Robinson is going for the interception. He couldn't get there either, nor could I spit it all out in a hurry.
McMahon never afraid to run. He said his legs are healthy. He had ankle and knee injuries that really bothered him last week.
Shoulder.
The shoulder is the one that's still bothering Charlie. The shoulder is not well. The ankle and the knee seem to be doing well. But the one thing McMahon will do to the Seattle Seahawks defense, if they leave someone uncovered, McMahon will find that uncovered player. He's very good at picking the defense, taking what's there. 2nd and 10. He needs to keep this drive alive.
Jamie Holland in motion. Far side, pass is complete, first down. Wayne Walker and Glasgow with the tackle. An update on the scores and the way that San Diego is at least moving the ball now. For the first time, they have edged into Seahawk territory. There could be the possibility of a change of score here. We have just over 11 and a half minutes left to go.
So frustrating when you have had all those opportunities offensively as Seattle has and have not put points on the board. We said it early. You put yourself at risk. They are at risk right now.
Back to Butts on the ground. 44-yard line. Gain of 5. 2nd down and 5. Dwayne Harper with the tackle. This telecast presented by Authority, the National Football League, intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Seattle Seahawks and the National Football League is prohibited. Today's game is the property of the National Football League, San Diego Chargers, and Seattle Seahawks, all rights reserved. 2nd and 5, 3 wide receivers for San Diego with Miller, Holland, and Walker. McMahon a quick set, and he is way high with it. And Anthony Miller not that thrilled because Hunter is waiting for him when he goes up.
One of the things that McMahon was not doing last week, he criticized himself. He was not setting properly. He did not set properly on that pass, and he let that ball get away on him. Had that ball been thrown down in the range where it's supposed to be. Watch his feet. He simply did not get his feet back in position so he could take that step forward and deliver the pass, Charlie.
San Diego has converted only 1 third down opportunity. Pass is complete, a fumble. It is recovered by Seattle. Joe Nash has it. There's a flag on the play.
We've got an offsides on the Seattle Seahawks defense. It's going to give the ball back to the Chargers. Oh.
We had a false start on 65 offense. No snap. No snap.
Well, there's no
65
snap.
Offense. 5-yard
It was a
penalty,
false
one play.
start that drew the Seahawks off sides. Richards is going to move before the snap. And it looked like Jacob Green who flashed in there, number 17. Look how far Green is in. Now, no, it's Bryant. Jeff Bryant, 77, who'd moved over to that tackle. But Bryant clearly started ahead of the ball. Had Richards been able to maintain his stance, the penalty would have gone against Seattle.
So the line of scrimmage goes back to the 49-yard line of Seattle. It is 3rd down and 10. The 30-second clock has not started. Kurt Warner had come out onto the field feeling that Seattle had the ball. He just now is leaving the field.
He's saying, hey, our ball, let's play.
That's right, we're ready.
My
Offense
guys
is
are ready. Now, instead of turning the ball over here in critical territory, McMahon with another opportunity.
And Robinson is playing a deep center field for the Seahawks. Pressure from the outside, drops it underneath. Flag is down. Nelson has the first down, goes all the way to the 30-yard line, but there's a marker back at the 48.
I think the penalty will be on Caravello, who's trying to block on Rufus
Illegal
Porter.
motion.
No.
Number 70 offense.
Well,
Play the 3rd down.
So James Fitzpatrick.
Fitzpatrick is trying to get out to block on Rufus Porter on that same side. Fitzpatrick in there in place of Joel Patton. And he's had a long day. He's done a pretty darn good job on there, I have to say. Let's look at him. He's out there with Caravello trying to contain Rufus Porter. There's Porter coming on the outside. There's what I thought would be the call for holding right there.
So it's 3rd down and 15. They got him on the other call. They didn't get that one.
Even being held, Porter was getting there. Porter's been a pain in the side for San Diego all day long.
Nelson trying to get away with a quick handoff underneath to negate the pass rush. And they'll go to the 48-yard line of Seattle. And James Jefferson makes the tackle and drops back to receive the kick of Hank Alyssa.
Well, at least some productivity
Yes.
from the offense, and you felt a little bit of a spark here now.
Something else. Good field position from San Diego standpoint as they are kicking. Now if they can hold and force the Seattle Seahawks to kick, they will be starting in the neighborhood of midfield and not back on their own 10 or 15-yard line. It's like a chess game. You've got to think ahead.
Going to be a short kick.
And a good move by
good
Jefferson. Smart move. And he's going to get a flag, too. He's going to get a flag. Chris Gannon, the snapper, was down there.
You can't touch the receiver.
And also a flag back at the 43-yard line. And the great thing about it was the fact that Jefferson, when he scooted up underneath it, he didn't let the ball bounce. He was back around the 10 because if it takes off, it could get all the way to the end zone. So he goes for the fair catch. But now we got a pair of flags. Odds are we'll have offsetting penalties. And one of the things you have to discuss on any penalty that involves a punt is when did the penalty take place? Before the kick, while the ball was in the air, or after the kick? Because that all dictates what is going to happen.
I love these conferences and all the help that these officials are getting.
Yes.
See all the players around. I mean, they're offering advice and opinions and a few tidbits.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, here's the final word.
We have offsetting fouls. I had roughing. I had personal foul, roughing after the kick. There was interference with the fair catch downfield. Technically, that's a double foul after the change of possession. It's the receiver's ball.
So it's a technical. The ball is gone at this point. In other words, San Diego has given up the ball at that point, and Patrick Hunter makes a very silly mistake. had they not touched the fair catcher at that point. And Gannon, I can't believe that one. Gannon knows better than that. Two really silly plays.
Interesting, though. Gene Barth, the referee, is saying they both took place after the change of possession. In regular time, when you look at that play, I have a feeling that the first one took place while the ball was in the air, and not after possession.
Charlie, maybe we get an interpretation. Haven't you given the ball up at the moment you kick it?
Yes, you have. Yes, you have. But he said after.
After the change of possession.
And when the ball's in the air, the possession has not changed yet. But you have given it up. And Seattle has the ball from their own 20-yard line. First down. And Largent back in the ball game, missing a quarter and a half in the first half with a concussion, playing most of the second half, and Warner has a yard to the 21.
We talked about the backside pursuit of Leslie O'Neal. There he was again, hounding people from the backside, coming in from the left side on that play, right on Warner's back. You've got to block him on the backside, or he'll kill you.
And again, time of possession weighing heavily to the Seattle Seahawks.
There's Leslie O'Neal reaching in from behind. Took about 3 swats with that long arm before he could get something to hang on to. Very short game.
2nd and 9. Incomplete.
Lester Bayless coming in on that last play. Not Lester Bayless. No, don't do that. Martin Bayless. Bayless on the blitz from the outside, able to get in there quickly. Watch the top of your screen. 44 jumps right around John L. Williams, and he's there to nail Craig. Forced that pass out a little bit early. 3rd and about 9 yards to go.
Kurt Warner, the intended receiver. And there is that time of possession. That's 2-1. Still amazing the score. Seattle 3 and San Diego nothing when you look at all the other numbers. And Craig is sacked at the 11-yard line. And Bert Grossman gets his 2nd sack of the ball game. His 3rd on the year.
Grossman, who did not practice a great deal this week with a bad knee, able to get some really good pressure in there. Number 92, right-hand side of your screen, just breaks by Millard, and I think Millard expected Feasel to come out and help him.
This is what we were talking about. The Chargers defense holds. Now they should have excellent field position to start their drive. Rodriguez will be kicking to Wayne Walker.
Walker's not a bad return man.
And again, the margin is still 3 points. Good kick. Fair catch. Taken at the 44-yard line in San Diego territory. With 7:26 time remaining in the game, and following that 45-yard kick, Seattle still leads 3-0. This is Charlie Jones and Merlin Olsen in the Great Pacific Northwest. We're in the Kingdome with 7:26 left to go in the ball game. San Diego 0, Seattle 3. The field goal coming with 2:03 to go in the first quarter. Norm Johnson from 27 yards out. Since then, he has missed 3 times. The Chargers have really never threatened, but their defense has been extraordinary. Play action fake by McMahon. He goes deep over the middle, completes the pass to the 33-yard line to Anthony Miller. Eugene Robinson with the tackle, and the Chargers within striking range. With that pass completion, as you take a look, that is pass completion number 8. And that matches the number of punts that San Diego has in the ballgame.
Well, McMahon's numbers already getting a little healthier as he throws that one down the middle. And you've got to get the ball into the hands of your best offensive player. That's what the Chargers did on that play.
22 yards to the 33-yard line. And here is Butts. And he's going to have a yard to the 32.
57, Tony Woods. Fine play on that last one. Linebacker who has really improved during the last season. Doing a much better job of diagnosing plays, getting into them. This whole front, you mentioned it at the opening of the show, Charlie, defensively for Seattle, they're small. They're giving up about 20 pounds a man on that offensive line, but they've had a pretty good day. They're quick. They're using a lot of slanting, a lot of gapping on defense, changing things up in a 4-man line right now to try and get some pressure on McMahon.
Play action fake. Good coverage downfield. Drops this one off to Butts. 28-yard line. Jeff Bryant and Paul Moyer were there.
Tony Woods again with the pressure. And Charlie, I'm not so sure that Billy Joe Tolliver could have made that play. McMahon sensed the pressure, moved out of the pocket, found the open receiver, and instead of getting a no gain on the play or a sack, ends up picking up some yardage. Now it's a little bit easier on a 3rd and short, or 3rd and 4.5 to 5 yards. Not short by any means. The 3rd and 4 to 5, a lot better than 3rd and 10.
And McMahon in control. That's great savvy. There's the first down to Nelson. Slips the tackle. And he goes out right at the 20-yard line. Will they mark it the 20 or the 21? Jenkins was chasing him. And Broderick Thompson is down. They're going to mark him out right at the 20-yard line.
Thompson left the field once earlier. He's at the 76, right in the middle of your screen. Watch this great play, great balance by Darren Nelson. Tom Catlin has his own ready list on his sleeve, but his first priority for this defense was to limit the big plays. Elway last week with bombs of 54, 49, 47, and 36 yards. They have not given up the big plays today, but McMahon is knocking on the door.
Marion Butts, 4 yards to the 16. It'll be 2nd and 6. Tony Woods with the tackle.
Positive yardage, moving the sticks. Signals going in from Archer. Archer's a balancing act on that sideline. Ted Tollner calling plays down from above. Very often Dan Henning will call plays. That's Charlie Joyner. We talked about his record. He's the number 2 all-time receiver with the cap on the middle of your screen. Henning's done a good job of putting a coaching staff together.
Broderick Thompson back in the ballgame. Incomplete. Miller, the intended receiver. Hunter with the coverage. It'll be 3rd down and 6 of the 16.
McMahon able to find the man-to-man coverage. Not able to convert on the opportunity. Chris Barr, we mentioned it earlier. I'm sure he was glad that he wasn't trying to stretch for those 50-yarders, but he's ready now for an opportunity to tie this most unusual game.
3rd and 6.
Butts will get the first
He's still
down.
going. He has the first down. He's at the 5-yard line. They had him at the 10, which would have been close to the first down, and he just kept going.
One of the advantages of being 250 pounds, especially working against the small front. He gets away from Bryant right there. An arm tackle by Nash doesn't slow him down. Green's arms don't slow him down. Butts just wasn't going to be denied. He's got it down to the 6-yard line. And Tim Spencer had a good line about Butts. He said, when you block for him, you get out of the way. And that man will run over you.
Dwayne Harper finally took him down. First down, goal to go. Butts with a flag down. He has a couple of yards, but there's a flag on the play. Preliminary signal holding against San Diego.
Andy Parker, who just came off the injured reserve list, back in the ball game as a 3rd tight end. I think drawing the penalty.
A check of the other scores as the penalty is paced off here.
85, holding, 10-yard penalty, replay the first down.
So we go out near the 16-yard line where it'll be first down and goal to go. Denver now has taken the lead, as you saw in their ball game. And here it is, Seattle by 3 over San Diego. Less than 3.5.
Well, the bad news is you're 10 yards back. The only good news, you got a first down.
Butts to the 15. Wyman with the tackle. Second down, goal to go.
We talk about phone booth tough linebackers, and Wyman is that. Those are the guys that can step up in tight territory and stick their helmets in there and stop people, especially big people like Butts.
Phone booth tough?
Phone booth toughness, you bet. Wyman has it.
I mean, you're going to dial his number? I take that back. I'm sorry.
That's one of Chuck Knox's saying. Better dial your own number when the going gets tough. Well, this is a defense that wants to dial their number right now. And a San Diego offense still looking for the first points of their day.
And there's movement on the far side. That's Fitzpatrick. They're going to call a false start before the snap. It'll be a 5-yard penalty back to the 20 and second down goal to go. And Rufus Porter.
False start, no play, number 70.
Rufus Porter, number 97.
Still second down.
Not only does he make great plays, but what he does is he causes the man in front of him to make mistakes, the man across from him to make mistakes, to look for him, to start too soon, because you've got to get out there. Now, what San Diego said they wanted to do, rather than to play back, was to step into him to try and nullify that speed, but that hasn't been working either.
He's learned an interesting trick. He knows that he gets that offensive man looking at him, he'll jump with his feet and get that guy to take a step back. Even though he is only 220 pounds, his great speed is such a factor from the blind side of the quarterback.
Pass caught at the 14-yard line. His teammates hollering to Jamie Holland, get up. Glasgow touches him down at that point.
Jamie doing his best to crawl for a little extra yardage, and McMahon doing a good job of stepping away from the pressure there. Number 22, Nisby Glasgow. Well, and they're saying he was touched when he was down. We've seen that one before earlier today, haven't we, Charlie? Different numbers, same kind of play. Almost down to the 2-minute warning.
And there it is, the 2-minute warning. Seattle leads at 3-0. San Diego is threatening at the 14. With 2 minutes to go, San Diego is threatening, and Seattle is leading, but the margin is only 3-0. Now, for the fourth week in a row, the Chargers have put themselves in a situation where they could either tie or win the game near the end of the ball game. And the last 3 ball games they lost. They were unable to capitalize. They shot themselves in the foot. They self-destructed.
Charlie, they still believe in themselves. If they do it again this week, I think their confidence in themselves begins to crumble, and it's a rather shallow confidence anyway. They need to win one of these games that they've positioned themselves for an opportunity in the last seconds. I mean, this is really what Henning had hoped to have happen. If we get to the final seconds of the game, we've got the ball in our hands, we've got a chance to win. They certainly have that here, or to tie right at this moment. You've got to convert. You can't miss the opportunity.
And so the situation here, it has developed just the way that Henning has wanted it to develop. They have that opportunity. Now, can they finally do it? Third down, goal to go. Touchdown, San Diego. Yards to Arthur Cox at 6'2", 277-pound tight end, his second touchdown of the year, and he's still working on how to celebrate.
But a whole team celebrates with him as they finally convert offensively for the first time today.
And we're having a review. So we'll go back and review it also.
Cox from his tight end position is simply going to be able to drift down into the end zone.
Call stands, touchdown.
A little used receiver. He just drives in and he is covered. A man in front, a man in back, but a ball thrown perfectly and a ball well caught by Cox. His only other touchdown as a Charger came against the Seahawks. The Seahawks are saying, why us?
And the extra point is good. 1:53 time remaining in the game, and San Diego leads for the first time. San Diego 7, Seattle 3. It is very quiet in the Kingdome now as this man, Arthur Cox, has caught the touchdown pass from the second quarterback. We go back to the second quarterback syndrome.
Charlie, I don't know why it happens that way. It just seems to work that way. A defensive team has knocked or has pushed a quarterback off the field, and suddenly there's a change in emotion. And it certainly worked for San Diego there as they're able to drive the ball down the field and get some points.
James Jefferson on the return. He's out to the 20, the 25, and down at the 26-yard line. And a little pushing or shoving going on, and a time to remind those of you in the East and Midwest to stay tuned for the magical world of Disney and the best of NBC's Sunday night lineup immediately following the conclusion of our game. Tonight on NBC, the magical world of Disney presents Ernest Goes to Camp, followed by the comedies Sister Kate and My Two Dads. Then 227's Jackie stars in Double Your Pleasure, an NBC world premiere movie. That's tonight here on NBC.
Going to re-kick, 5-yard penalty.
Meanwhile, we had an offsides on the kick.
Offside on the kickoff, and not good news for San Diego. They'll move it back 5 yards and have to kick it again.
All right, let's update all the scores. Cleveland wins. Chicago defeating the Rams. Buffalo defeating Miami. Those are the early games. Buffalo's really strong. New England in a close one. Ooh. Overtime final, 23-20. Cincinnati big over Tampa Bay. They come roaring back. Dallas loses again. Pittsburgh, they're on the rebound. Also in overtime, Green Bay defeats Detroit 23-20. And New Orleans downing Atlanta. San Francisco defeating the Jets. In the fourth quarter, Philadelphia by 4 over Denver. The Raiders, that battle has been going back and forth, and the Raiders big over Washington. That's by 20 points in the fourth quarter. And here it is San Diego 7. Seattle 3 with 1:48 left to go. And Chris Barr will be kicking from the 30-yard line. On the far side is James Jefferson, number 26, Elroy Harris, number 33 on the near side. '15-yard line. Here's Harris. Slips a tackle. Second man gets him at about the 29-yard line.
Excellent coverage by Joe Madden's special teams, and I think that's one of the things that has improved most here today is the coverage from the special teams of the Chargers. They were outplayed on special teams 2 weeks ago, and they have really worked hard here today. It's good coverage to kick it that high and that far and have that many people underneath it.
That was Ken Woodward, but also Anthony Allen down on the play.
There's Joe Madden, special teams coach on the sideline.
Craig has completed 22 of 42, 228 yards. He's been intercepted twice, and he's got pressure, and he is sacked at the 15.
Leslie O'Neal, 91, 97, George Hinkle. That was a jailbreak, Charlie. 99, Lee Williams, all in on top of Craig. Craig goes no huddle, 2nd and 22.
Drops it off right side. John L. Williams, he'll go out of bounds, stopping the clock. 1:26 is the time remaining.
'91 again. Ron Mattis trying to get a handful of O'Neal's jersey. He's got a big piece of number 17, Dave Craig. Well, this defense of Ron Lynn's has certainly had an impressive day. They all have reason to be proud. So many opportunities. That's like standing in front of somebody with a shotgun and saying, I don't think you can hit me.
3rd and 11. short of the first down by a couple of yards. Scansey pulled it in, and he was pulled down by Roy Bennett.
4th down. You got to go for it here. Maybe the most important play of the game for San Diego's defense.
And for Seattle's offense. First down. And Lewis Clark almost broke it. 40-yard line of San Diego. The margin is 4 points. They have to go for the touchdown. Seahawks take a timeout after that gain of 12. We'll be back in just a moment. Chargers lead by 4. Here we go.
Chance to watch Craig very quickly into that play. Johnny Thomas, number 47, the man that they beat on the play. 4 wide receivers.
First down. 42-yard line of San Diego. 60 seconds remaining. Craig has pressure, gets it off, lugs it out of bounds at the 21.
The Seattle Seahawks have spent the entire afternoon in San Diego territory. They have 3 points to show for it. They need to do better than that on this drive, or they're not going to go away with a victory. 21 yards from the end zone.
54 seconds remaining. No good. Lewis Clark out of bounds. Second down, back of the 21.
1 foot in and 1 foot out. Sammy Seal isolated. 1, no, not even 1. I thought the first foot was in, but clearly both feet out of the end zone. They want to review that one. Well, it won't take long in that case.
No. That review will just take a moment.
They obviously didn't want to let a play of that importance go without taking a quick look at it.
The call stands. Second down.
Here comes a blitz. Incomplete.
Brian Blades saying he was interfered with. Johnny Thomas again, number 47, the man that they're trying to get isolated on that play. Let's look at the end of the play. Number 47 right here. Brian Blades trying to turn back. Johnny Thomas with his back away from the quarterback. He's trying to turn into the ball. And actually looked to me like Blades ended up pushing him. Right there, turning back toward the ball. He's allowed incidental contact, and it's Blades using the hands.
The key was the fact that he had his head turned back toward the football. Without that, it's an interference call. Third down and 10 at the 21.
Boy, they're going right into the end zone, and it's a touchdown.
They got it! Brian Blades 10 for 117. Norm Johnson with the extra point, and he's got it. And the Seahawks again lead by 3.
Going into the end zone again. A beautiful pass. And Blades shows you why he has become such a feared receiver. Again, Largent inside, draws the double coverage. Blades, the single coverage, and the touchdown.
It took Seattle 1 minute and 13 seconds. 1 minute and 13 seconds to move 71 yards and to take the lead in 8 plays.
And after a day of camping in San Diego's secondary and camping in San Diego's territory, frustrated at every turn, Craig finally gets his catch.
In case you're wondering about the time on the drive of a minute 2, that's the time of the drive. The time at the last score was 1:53. So from that time until this time is 1:13. And now the Chargers have to duplicate that feat in 40 seconds or at least get within field goal range for the tie. And San Diego will start from the 20. One reason for downing it in the end zone, not taking a chance in the last 2 minutes of either half. The ball on a kickoff, the time does not start until the ball has been touched in the field of play. So now the time is still 40 seconds remaining. You can run down all the scores as the San Diego Chargers and the Seattle Seahawks fit to do battle in the last 40 seconds of regulation play.
Both of these teams have had second heroics. The game 2 weeks ago came down to a blocked extra point and a blocked field goal in the final minutes. The Seahawks came away with a win there. Unless McMahon can get some heroics going here, the result will be the same today.
And they start on the ground with Darren Nelson. He's out to the 32-yard line.
Clock is ticking away. McMahon up. Come on. Get it going, Jimmy. Don't waste that clock.
Drops it off underneath to Cox. Clock is still moving.
There's a timeout for McMahon, and this is something I think it still hurts McMahon that he is not more familiar with this offense. He's not able to take charge in the 2-minute drill like he did when he was at Chicago. The other thing about this offense that I think hurts him in this situation, he doesn't have a lot of audibles to use. This is an offense that counts on adjustments rather than audibles, and I think that really hurts McMahon.
And so San Diego now with 1 timeout remaining. The Seahawks have 2, and the Seahawks have the lead with 14 seconds left to go.
This game was bound to end in frustration for one of these coaches. Dan Henning, who's seen his team now for 3 weeks, and now the 4th week in a row, having a chance to win or tie in the final drive of the game, feeling that this was his day. On the other side of the field, Knox in the game last week, they tore Denver apart in the first half and then fell apart in the second half to Elway's bombing to come back and lose. And he had the feeling that it was going to be the second week in a row. Well, the emotion has ripped from one side to the other here today.
2nd and 9 at the 33. Wayne Walker with the reception at the 46, out of bounds, 8 seconds left.
They have timeouts. They have 1 timeout, enough to get the field goal team on the field. Interesting that they go to Walker there. Walker's the one who hurt Seattle in that game 2 weeks ago down that sideline as well.
They need 25 yards on this play. Anything else would be a bonus. At least 25 for the long field goal attempt. And you've got to stop the clock immediately.
And maybe time for 2 passes, but they've got to throw it pretty quickly if they're going to get a pair in. Knocked down.
McMahon catches the ball. McMahon with the reception. They'll stop the clock. Not in time.
Pure and simple reaction from the competitor McMahon. The ball back in his hands. He probably should have dropped it, but he couldn't do it.
The most valuable player, Brian Blade.
Has had an incredible day, Charlie.
Yes, he has. The most valuable player, sponsored by Budweiser. Brian Blades and Budweiser make a contribution to the United Way on behalf of all of the MVPs selected in today's game. He made a lot of good catches today, but the big one was the touchdown. He's got the football.
He's got that ball locked under his arm. And when it really came down to the count, a defense that had had such a strong day, San Diego, getting stroked for that one big touchdown. And Billy Joe Tolliver, well, he learned a lot about the game today.
And here is McMahon after catching his own pass, coming in relief of the starter, Billy Joe Tolliver. He signals for the timeout, looks to the scoreboard and sees the double zeros and knows it is all over. You got to win? Well, you might as well win ugly. The final is San Diego 7, but Seattle 10. 10-7 Seahawks. They do it.